Welcome to Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from Central California with your hosts Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting video worldwide at ParanormalCentral.net and broadcasting audio on the Dark Matter Network at ArtBell.com. Are you ready to witness something that you cannot explain?
I'm looking for you, you're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I believe the unexplained? Look into the sky.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Paranormal Central, broadcasting live in the bottom left-hand corner of the Nevada Triangle in a city called Fresno, California. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am your host for the show. Also the founder of a group called the Sanger Paranormal Society. Been investigating the paranormal going on over 12, 13 years now. I started this program about 7 years ago because I've been finding just incredible evidence of the paranormal that I had to show you guys somehow, and I think this is the right highway to do it, and so far so good. My team, one of the guys is sitting right here to the right of me, to the left of you is Alan Thomas.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you.
Emerald is not here again today, and we have to say sorry to Emerald. She is losing her grandfather, so she is in Sacramento right now with him by his side, and sending our prayers to her and the family. Tonight we have, just like every week, a great show for you. When it comes to the paranormal, we can talk about things forever. UFOs, Bigfoot, conspiracy theories, the Bible, religion. We talk about religion here, and I hope that doesn't offend anybody, because the book, the Bible, happens to be probably the most paranormal book ever, and that exists to this day. Why? Because it's actually foreseeing the future. It's telling us about what we talk about here, about things in the skies, about monsters roaming the earth. The Bible actually talks about that. So, that's why we bring in religion, the Bible, into what we talk about here. So, if you believe in God, if you don't believe in God, stick around, because, hopefully we're going to teach you guys something. And that's what we're here for, okay? So, all right, let's get to it here. Again, Emerald is not here, so I'm going to be handling all of the phone calls and the callings, and if we get phone calls, I'll be answering them, and hopefully I won't screw up. But guess what? I probably will. That's just the way it goes. So bear with me, you guys, okay? All right, so let's work on the lights a little bit here. All right, cool. All right, as you guys know, we are broadcasting video on live stream. And if you're watching us right now, I am so sorry. If you want to just listen to our broadcast, you can go to artbell.com. Yeah, you heard me right. Artbell.com is broadcasting our signal audio worldwide on the Dark Matter Network. You can go to ParanormalCentral.net, and you'll have two links on there. You can go to the Art Bell, or you can go to the live stream and watch us. Or what a lot of people do, because sometimes the sound stinks on here, is you can go to live stream, mute us, and you can go to Art Bell and listen to us. And a lot of people do that, and they say it works out great. There might be a delay in there, but you know what? Who cares, right? So we're going to be calling Danny Valderrama, who is our Squatch reporter. And I think he's finally home, and he's not on the road. It's about frickin' time. And, he sends us over some pictures, and we're going to be showing them on live stream. If you guys are listening to us on Art Bell, you can go to the homepage at artbell.com, and you will see the pictures that we're going to be talking about with Danny and Heidi, our other reporter, at the second half of the show. And you can go and I believe it's like the Squatch Report and for Paranormal Central. And you'll have Heidi Hollis at the other link, whatever it's there. And we're going to talk to her at the second half of the show. So let's go ahead and call Danny. And again, I'm going to be the one who's doing the walking of the fingers here. So let's hopefully I dial it right. And let's get him on the phone. Oh my God, that worked.
Yeah, when it starts ringing.
Hello?
Domino's Pizza.
Can I get a large combination?
You like anchovies?
No.
Because you know what, you're fishy. That's why I'm requesting anchovies.
You guys want?
What do you guys want? I want to know about Bigfoot, dude. Is he real or not?
Bigfoot. Of course he's real.
Oh yeah, you got proof?
He lives in our hearts.
Come on, you can do better than that. You
He
got
lives
the
in
pictures,
red
some
circles.
videos.
He lives in
You know,
red
what I did
circles
notice
on
is
my
that
Facebook.
in order to see him, you have to be drinking or smoking.
That's all the blurry. That's when it comes into blurry. Now, let's say you are drinking and you are smoking. How do you get it focused?
I don't know.
That's why he's
Lucky if
always
you can know how
blurry.
to use a camera like that.
That's a blob squatch for you right there, dude. Okay. All right. So you at home today, right?
I'm at home today.
About freaking time. You going to work tomorrow?
Yep.
It's about time. Oh, you know what? Everybody stay off the road between the hours of 8 and 7 o'clock.
It's your best choice.
That's what I'm saying. All right. Let's get to the photographs Danny sent me. And again, for all those who want to watch us here at Livestream, I'm going to be posting up the pictures. Or go to artbell.com, and they have the exact pictures we're going to be showing you right now. All right. Let me go to picture number 1. And bring it up, and let me get.
We've got to say hi to Dar and her husband, who are probably having a date night right now, listening to us.
Really? A date night?
Yeah.
Watching Paranormal
They have a
Central?
date night every Sunday night, watching the show.
Wow. You know what? We got to work on that. Maybe we can create something. Date night with Paranormal Central.
Yeah, we could do a 2-for-1 deal.
A 2-for-1 deal.
2 Bigfoots for 1 date night.
Right. Okay. I am going to put up the picture. And you are on Mr. Danny.
All right, story number 1 is from Cliff Barrettman. This was on his page. Somebody sent him a photo by the name of Carl.
And Cliff Barackman is Finding Bigfoot.
It's from Finding Bigfoot.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Carl set up a game camera in near the Kettle River in Minnesota. It's a thickly wooded swamp area. And there is a farmland nearby that's food producing. And there's a history of sightings in this area, so he sets up game cameras regularly. And Carl is claiming that this picture shows is a picture of a face kind of leaning in to take a look at the game camera. And you can see it kind of on the right-hand side.
Oh, shoot. I see freaking face, dude.
This is the uncropped image. And
Holy mackerel.
He says it shows like
all right, let me
see eyes and a mouth
I,
and a nose.
I actually see that. All right, I'm gonna
and long hair.
I'm going to zoom in
The next
on
picture
that.
is enlarged.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that then. Let's go to the next picture. Holy mackerel! I didn't even notice that until you brought it up. All right.
Now he did send in before and after game cam pictures to show the area.
Whoa.
For comparison. And Cliff didn't post those because they didn't really show much because they were too far apart. But you can see the face there.
I see
and
something.
you can see the details on it. And the next picture has the, in case you can't see the face, the next picture has the little arrows pointing to where the eyes are in the mouth.
That's exactly what I see. Oh, shoot. Oh, boy. Okay, now, when
like a
you
poodle.
get something from Cliff, all right, you guys have to take his name, his credibility into effect. All right, Cliff is not going to put nothing out there unless he is almost 100% certain. You know, obviously, what I'm seeing right now,
or he's debunking it,
or it's debunking it. Okay, but I see a face.
You see it.
I see
right?
it. I see it.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Continue.
So Cliff contacted Carl and said, "Send me the photos. I want the original photos. I want to be able to look at these extensively." So that's what Carl did. So he's not trying to trick anybody. He just doesn't know what it is, and he's putting it out there to see if somebody can tell him what it is.
Okay.
So Cliff did what you're supposed to do, what everyone's supposed to do, is look what it's not before you decide what it is.
Right.
And he looked for the possibility of misidentification.
Okay.
And maybe it possibly could be like the back end of a moose or other large animal in the area.
Okay, I can see that.
So he's looking for that, and none of that matched. But if you go back to the original picture,
Okay.
the tip-off for Cliff was that there was probably food left out in front of the camera, like you usually do.
Right.
And in the first picture, the uncropped image, you can see 2 crows on the ground.
Right. Oh, wings, son of a gun.
And would those crows be there if there was a Bigfoot in the area?
No, there
That's what
wasn't.
Cliff said.
Ah.
So after looking at more, Cliff decided that what this is a crow in flight.
Yep.
And it's flying off. It's flying off to the right.
Wow.
And I agree with his assessment.
Yep.
It's probably grabbed its food and took off. It's facing to the right. You can see the feathers now. Now that you know what you're looking at, you can see the feathers all the way down at the bottom.
Right.
You can see the wings.
I'm bummed.
And it looks bigger than the other 2 because it's closer to the camera.
That's right.
So everybody sees something. It's like that dress that was out on the internet all week.
Right.
Everybody sees something different. I mean, you probably saw a Bigfoot at the beginning, but now that you know it's a crow, you're seeing a crow.
But man, let me go back to
Now he did a crow before. They did a crow on their Finding Bigfoot show.
Next to a feeder that was flying away.
Right.
Yeah, and everybody thought it was a Bigfoot too, and it turned out to be a crow.
That is just something. I have the bigger picture right now up, Danny, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
It looks like a face there.
It looks like a freaking face, man. Damn it.
See, you know what that does is all those red circles that people find.
Right.
You can find a face in anything.
Anything. Yeah.
See, that's
you sure can.
It's a wing.
Right.
With feathers, and there's a face.
Damn it.
Can you imagine what a forest would look like? And I can.
That's why you get some of those pictures with 100 circles on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Where's Waldo? Correct.
Yeah.
But Carl did the right thing.
Yeah, he
He
did.
submitted his picture for a peer review.
Right.
But a lot of people do that, and they put it on all these different pages, and they just get ripped apart.
Yeah.
So that makes them not want to turn in pictures. But if we can just stop ripping people apart right away and try to find out what it is, we'd get a lot more pictures.
That thunder?
Crazy. Was it?
We
Might be. It's pretty dark out there.
Yeah, we have thunder over us, and our our sound effects lightning is going off with the thunder.
Kind of cool.
That's cool. Gosh dang it! I need to put those 2 in here. That would have been. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna do it for next week, you guys. All right. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw a face there, but it's that's a bummer. Okay. Well, hey, it's pretty good. It's all about finding the truth. If it's not a Bigfoot, then we're gonna tell you it's not a Bigfoot. All right, number 4. Got it. Go.
For sure, Cliff Brackman will.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll tell you. They'll tell you straight up.
Okay.
Even if it is a Bigfoot, they'll tell you it ain't sometimes.
Oh yeah, and that's weird, isn't it? I mean, the whole idea is to find Bigfoot, but if you find Bigfoot, they might tell you it's not Bigfoot. I mean, come on, that doesn't make any sense to me. But oh well. All right, number 4th picture. Go for it.
All right, number 4 is a story from a news site, and it's called OzarksFirst.com. It's a TV news station. And this was submitted on February 26th from Fouke, Arkansas.
Okay.
That's the Fouke monster and the legend of Boggy Creek.
That's one of our guests. We interviewed him
Lyle
twice.
Blackburn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually,
They have
a
sighting.
good friend, not just a guest.
Yep.
Oh no.
It's starting to
Anti-lag
rain.
feature triggered.
Oh.
What's going on there?
I hope it isn't like the storm is taking
What's that? What's
taking out your internet.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Continue, Danny.
All right. They have sightings dating back in this area all the way back to 1908, and everybody sees a creature that's anywhere from 6 to 9 feet tall, about 400 pounds, has brown, red to black hair, and extra unusually long arms. And anyways, this Fox 16's reporter, Suzanne Bruner, covered a story in November about a rare deer doe that had antlers, and it was killed out in the woods. And this was in Ida, Claiborne County. And a Sasquatch hunter was watching the story in November, and he thought he saw in the background of the story what looked like a Bigfoot to him. So he took a screenshot and he sent it into Suzanne. So we don't have the original video from the story back in November, but we do have the picture, and that's what you're showing there.
So that's right in the dead center is what we're looking at?
Yeah,
okay.
the dark area.
You know, again, just like, you know, if you look into a forest, just like Ellen said, you can possibly pick out things. And, you know, this, unless you have a before and after picture, you can't say anything about this.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's where you have the screenshot, and they interviewed a guy there named Williams Lunsford, and he says that that's about the size and the coned head and the black eyes. It shows everything that he saw. He had a sighting about 40 years ago near Boggy Creek, and he was 17 years old at the time, and he was fishing, and he saw across from him about 45 yards away a creature squatting behind a tree staring at him. And when they made eye contact, this thing stood up, and he said it just kept rising and rising and rising. He couldn't believe how tall it was.
Right.
And it just, they stared at each other for a while, and it just took off. And it's been traumatized ever since. He says that's what he saw.
Yeah. Hey, can everybody hear the rain? I'm going to hold off. It was thundering right now, too, so it's raining like cats and dogs. So we are letting the people at Art Bell know that if for some reason if we lose power, well, then obviously everything is gone. So we're just letting you give the heads up. But it's raining cats and dogs and moose and Bigfoot outside right now. So
wow.
Yeah,
pretty cool. It's perfect.
Perfect. And then I tell you, if I would have had my lightning set up in the back, because it was thundering and it was triggering the lightning storms outside. But okay. All right. Is there another picture after this?
No, there's only one picture for this one.
Okay. All right. Let's go to
she showed it around to the people in town, and everybody in town. It's a small town, so everybody has a story about Bigfoot, and everybody knows what it is. And it's just a shadow right now.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I'm still trying to track down the original story. I want to see if I find it. I'll post it on the Paranormal Central page.
Okay.
But I want to see what this guy saw and that made him think that it was a Bigfoot.
Right.
See if it moves. See if anything.
Right.
Right now, it's just a shadow.
Right.
So.
That's cool.
Okay. All right. Go to the next picture number 5.
Man, too bad I couldn't pan the camera around and let them see that.
5.
Another lightning flash?
See, I purchased some strobe lights, right? Some professional strobe lights, and I have them in the other part of the studio where we're going to do the TV show. I have them outside the windows, and they're sound activated. And right now, the thunder that's going off outside is triggering the strobes. The lightning's coming through the windows. It is so bitchin'.
It's haunted in here.
And it would probably be working right now if I would have had them back here. Yep. But like an idiot, I didn't. God, I just slapped myself. All right, got the next picture with something walking on a trail.
Yep, this is from the Crypto Mundo page from Craig Woolheater. He posted this on February 26th. Got 3 pictures with this story.
Okay.
Now, they had a pic they've had this pic for a while, and they didn't have permission to post it, but they finally got permission this week, so they released it. It was sent to them from far north Queensland, and for cultural and security reasons, they cannot give the exact location away.
So
it was taken in October of 2014.
Okay.
It was 2 men that were, they observed something walking towards them on a trail, and at first they thought it was a workman in the area wearing overalls. So they decided to wait for him, and as it got closer, they could see that it wasn't somebody in overalls, that it was completely black. It was 8 to 9 feet tall, had a large stomach, and the muscles in the neck and the shoulder pretty muscular, and they can see them, and had long arms, walking like a man. So they pulled out their cell phone and they took this picture, and it was about 70 to 80 meters away, which is about 230 to 260 feet away, which is about a little over 3/4 of a football field away when they took this picture. It's right so far away, and then they left the area after they took the picture. They're claiming that this is the 100% genuine photo, not photoshopped or anything like that. And if you go to the next picture, it's a close-up of it.
Okay. Let me go to that picture now. Okay, got it up.
They had a much better view of it than these
Sure.
pictures, so we don't know what they saw. They just their descriptions, but it's not convincing. I mean,
Wow.
still can't tell what it is.
Yeah.
Still almost a football field away. Could be a possible misidentification. Why didn't they wait till it got closer to take a picture?
Right. And that's
why didn't it try to hide when it saw them?
true. Because if it was a Bigfoot, it would have just really quickly taken off to the left and run into the trees. I mean,
Yeah. Why would it be walking on the main trail if there was somebody ahead of it? That's not usual behavior.
That's cool.
Some are saying if you go to the next picture, it could be an Aboriginal man too. I don't know.
oh yeah. I mean, you
This
know what?
is in Australia. This is a Yowie.
Yeah, I see on its right hand, which is the left side, like it's a walking stick, maybe.
Yeah, that's what some people see too. But if you go to the next picture,
Okay.
on this picture, you can kind of see something to the left of it.
Next picture would be.
And they're saying that some people are saying that, hey, that could be another Bigfoot walking with it that's cloaking.
What?
You see kind of the shape there with an arm?
Let me
I see it.
move in closer here for everybody.
Yeah.
What? Where do you
think,
see
I
that?
think I know what that is.
You
Wait.
do?
What are you seeing? What?
I think it's the fence line.
Yeah, it is the
Well,
fence.
yeah, that's the fence line there. I don't see nothing on the
Yeah.
left.
On some of the pictures, it shows up pretty good, and it looks like there's a figure there, and you can kind of see the left arm. But what it actually is the fence line, because you can see the fence on the first picture. You can see the fence where the fence is,
Right.
and then it rises and it drops right where the creature is. And one of those fence posts is totally illuminated by the sun, giving the appearance that there's an arm there, and that's all it is. It's just the fence. It's not one cloaking. But
You know, I'm looking at that thing, whatever it is, and the legs are awfully skinny.
yeah, the arms kind of look long.
Yeah, they do. And
But I don't know about the 8 to 9 feet tall.
yeah,
Because,
well,
the boards in the foreground,
right,
probably at the 4 foot level, because you have to pound those in.
right. That's exactly what I was going to refer to.
And then so it's probably like 6 feet tall.
Right. Yeah, it's not that tall.
And
And
he's wearing a hat.
a hat.
He's
And
a
if
hat
you look at
man.
the bottom in all 3 pictures, it looks like right where the ankle starts, there's a straight line on both legs, and it looks like white shoes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a perfectly straight line underneath both legs, and it's a white area underneath both of them.
Yep.
So I don't know if this could be just somebody walking out there.
Yeah, that could definitely miss identification.
So pretty weird.
What?
Still you just got to submit the pictures and
Right. Well, oh well. Okay.
let everybody make their own decision.
Absolutely. So, it's kind of funny because this is a Yowie, right?
Yeah, this is a Yowie.
It's kind of funny how I mentioned the Yowie last week, and all of a sudden there's a Yowie picture.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we were interviewing
Yeah.
Daniel Ansel.
Yep.
Well, maybe Yowies have white feet and hats.
They might.
You know,
Right.
they're like disguised. You know, they don't want to look like a Bigfoot or a Yowie, so they disguise
Plenty of
themselves.
gift shops out there.
The true Australian ninja.
Yeah. All right. Go to picture number 8.
All right, these are just fun pictures. What do you do in the snow? This is from February 26th on the BFRO page. There's just some people out in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, having fun in the snow, building a Bigfoot.
So they painted the snow. Is that what they
They
did?
painted the snow.
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
They used spray paint because somebody asked them, what did you use? And there's an unidentified man. The second man is Brandon Samaka and Ashlyn Yost, all from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, having some fun out there.
Yeah, I guess so.
They're paying homage to Patty.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Second picture is her backside. And then the third picture is the Bigfoot.
The Bigfoot.
And finally, a not blurry picture. And somebody was saying that it kind of looks like the Keep On Trucking person from the 70s.
Oh, okay. I remember
It kind
that.
of looks like that. But now it's Keep On Trucking Bigfoot.
That's funny. That's
So,
funny. Right on.
A little imagination and some paint, and you can do good things.
You can do everything, and you can. What's the word? You can.
Win T-shirts from us.
Yeah. Right on. So what else is going on, Danny?
That's it.
So where are you going to be next week?
Next week, I'm going to be at a funeral, but I'll be on the show.
Oh, you will? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's here in town, so we're good.
You were going to be out of town, though, weren't you?
I was going to be out of town, but then we had this.
The funeral. Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to stay in town.
All right. Okay. Is the funeral on Saturday?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right. Sounds good. All right, Danny. Thank you much, sir, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Don't get hit by lightning.
No. I don't know.
It's kind of cool, though.
Can people hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I heard the rain, but not the lightning.
The chat
Or the
is
thunder,
saying you're hearing it.
They're hearing it? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, Danny. Thank you, man.
Bye, Danny.
Take one for the team, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Alan, go run out there. Take that mic stand and go out there and hold it up.
I'll get, yeah.
Right,
right,
you can.
yeah. I got curly enough hair.
All right, Danny. Thanks, dude.
All right. We'll see you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. That was Danny Valderrama, our Squatch reporter, known around the world
As the Squatch reporter.
as the Squatch reporter. All right. What time is it?
Man,
26.
I think the storm has us going way behind, though.
Well, you know what? It was
delay.
lagging on. As soon as the first thunder hit, the screen came up yellow and said something that I've never seen it said. So I think it messed with our streaming somehow. So yeah, I hope it didn't really mess it up completely, but we're on, so we're good. So, all right, okay. In 15 minutes, we're gonna have a call come in. Next week we are going to be at the Tulare Sci-Fi Con. Both days, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to leave early on Sunday so we can be back for the show. It's going to be fun. On Sunday, my production crew is going out there, and we're going to have fun with the cameras. And I don't know what we're going to have set up yet, but we're going to have a 10x10 booth. We're going to take some props and we're going to fix it up and all that. And obviously, we'll take pictures and all that kind of good stuff so we can show it to you that Sunday. But we're going to probably go around and do like interview on the street, and I don't know what type of actors or that they're going to have there, but hopefully we'll interview some, and we're just going to have some fun. And we're going to use a lot of that for our TV show episode. I'm not sure which episode that's going to air at, but we're going to put it on there and have some fun. So in the meantime, before Philip calls in, we have 15 minutes. Last week, we had a lot of stuff to talk about, and we ran out of time. And we were going to tell you about our little field trip that we took on the outskirts of Fresno, California. Not the mountains, but the foothills. Not even the foothills, more like the valley floor.
Right.
All right. So we went, it was Alan, Robert, and myself, and we went and had a meeting with this guy who says there's some crazy stuff happening on his property. He has lemon trees, organic lemon trees, the way we found out that he was growing, which might make it very appetizing for the Bigfoots.
Right, yeah, because they have a higher sugar content.
And they're a lot bigger from what I understand, too. So anyways, let me tell you what he told us. Okay, for those who don't believe in Bigfoot, it's probably going to go in one ear and out the other, and you're going to say, Jeff, you guys are smoking crack. Leave it alone. For those who believe in Bigfoot and believe in what we do here, where we try to tell you the truth, listen up, because this is going to freaking blow your mind.
Well, the first thing he did, and I think that's how you got a hold of him, or he got a hold of you, was the picture.
No.
But he showed us right where that was.
Yeah.
And it really was where that was.
I think it was. Yeah. So, got a call. And my buddy told me, hey, you need to call this guy, he's having some problems on his property. So we did. I did. And remember I told you that one day before I got sick, Emerald and I went over and talked to him. Well, last Saturday, we took a little trip up there with Alan, Robert, and myself. And we spent 10 to 6. So we spent 8 hours there that Saturday. All right. It was an all-day thing. And we had fun. I mean, I purchased a new truck, and it's a 250 Chevy, a 4x4 4-door, and we went 4-bine all over the hills there on his property. And he was showing us stuff, and he told us some stories. And I'm going to tell you a story that he told us. And at first, though, when he told us the story, he wasn't thinking Bigfoot. He was thinking, what the hell are these people doing on my property at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? All right. So when you're a farmer and you're farming lemons, you have to get up early in the morning and sometimes stay out late to watch the water and make sure that the water stays in the rows of your trees. And one day he was out, and he saw 2 guys walking or doing something on his property, and he noticed that they were camoed, and they were wearing camouflage, and they had big guns. So I'm assuming AR-15s, and they were actually camouflaged guys. Okay, what he told me it reminded him of military personnel. This is not the first time I've gotten reports of military personnel in camo with AR-15s in the foothills.
No, or even on the valley floor in areas where we're getting reports.
Yes. So
like out by Mount Owen.
Right. So take that into consideration when we're telling you that there are military wandering around where there are Bigfoot sightings. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind. All right, now he is riding around on one of his 4-bys, and then he gets his flashlight and he says, "Hey, what are you doing on my property?" Right? The 2 guys, oh my God, he sees us, and they start running to hide. Then he sees 4 other guys, and he describes these 4 guys as wearing heavy jackets, black jackets.
Same thing that I described.
Right.
It's exactly the way I described it.
Exactly. So he goes, "Hey, what are you guys doing on my property?" And those 4, he thinks, are guys, are running, and he notices one of them has a pig over his shoulder. And 2 were going this way and 2 were going this way, and the guy with the pig hits a steel water pipe that is carrying water from a reservoir through his property line, and it sees this guy hit the pipe, and he flies over, right, like this, like somersaults in the air, and so did the pig. The guy gets up, throws the pig over his shoulder, and all 4 run up the hill. Now, we were there and we saw this hill. And he goes, "Jeff, those 4 guys ran up that hill like it was nothing. And they ran straight up at a high rate of speed, and they were gone in no time." Now, he told me this story when Emerald and I went and talked to him in his house that one night before I got sick, a couple Saturdays ago. And what he told me made sense. I'm going, "Dude, this is what you saw." And those first two guys were military guys. What were they doing out there? Well, my theory is they were looking for those other 4 guys, but those 4 guys weren't guys. Those were Bigfoots. And they were not wearing heavy jackets. They were just big guys, man. Yeah. Big guys.
The heavy jacket looks like, but really it's muscle. It's pure muscle.
Right.
They're big.
Right. And one of the Bigfoots was carrying food. Carrying a freaking boar pig.
A wild.
Oh, yeah.
Wild
and
pig.
Those suckers are, depending on the size, we're talking hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
Now, he was telling me that over the years, he used to have wildlife all over his property. Deer, pig, possum, skunk, everything you can imagine that's in the foothills of the mountains, mountain lions even, he'd witnessed on his property. But over the past 5 years, they're gone. There's no more. And I told him, well, it looks like, the food is disappearing because they're being eaten, basically. All right, or they're being scared away. by something. Either way, either or. And I'm telling him all this, and this guy's freaking out. He says, holy crap. It makes sense. Then I said, did you know that right sort of kind of, and I'm not going to say where he lives, but over there, we had a sighting. And I showed him the picture of Avocado Lake. Okay, that's going to give it away right there. He's not very far from Avocado Lake, guys, all right? And I showed them the picture, and he says, dude, I know where this is at. I'm all, what are you talking about? That's across the street from my house. I'm all, what? And he goes, yes, I know where that's at. And so it was already late at night, and he couldn't take us out there because it was already dark. But Saturday, that's the first place he took us, was to the spot. And I had the picture of the Avocado Lake and the Bigfoot on my camera, on my cell phone, and I brought it up. And we went, holy smokes, dude. I could throw a rock from his house to the spot where this Bigfoot was at. Running, it looks like. So he's totally freaking out. I'm freaking out because it's like, really? I mean, you're telling me that we don't have to go to the mountains anymore.
Right. And that's a big deal. Like, we've been for 5 years,
right,
driving hours and hours and hours, and going deep into the forest to find Bigfoot.
Right.
And we found them. I mean, we know where they're at.
Right.
But we could have just drove 10 minutes.
Yes. So that day, last Saturday, we spent, all four of us in my truck, driving around. And he has some killer property, all right? And we were literally walking up hills, and he was showing us, look, Jeff, you see this piece of grass is like something stepped here, but around it for 10 feet or so, there's nothing. So he's going, how come there's what seems to be a step here, but nothing around it? Then Alan goes, well, let's talk Bigfoot. If it's a very large Bigfoot, the stride is going to be anywhere between
10 and 15 feet.
Okay, so we started looking, 10 and 15 feet. Oh my gosh, there's another one. Oh my gosh, another 10 feet. There's another one. So he's freaking out. He's going, oh crap.
Yeah, 'cause
now I get it.
Now you're, you went from regular human size thinking
or
track.
animal thinking. Like a deer would walk and you're talking, the weeds in the grass, dude, is about a foot high. So you can see where, there's like a cattle crossing or a deer or whatever.
Yeah, you can see them where they went. You can follow them.
Yeah. But you have a piece of grass that's been stepped on, and there's nothing around it until you decide to go and travel around it, and you find another one. And then you start following what we think are footprints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some pictures of what we found there. And on Art Bell, they're not at Art Bell, so for those people who are wanting to see these pictures, you can always go back to the archive at Livestream or at YouTube once Alan posted the video back up, and you can see these. So, he actually sent me some other pictures a couple days ago, and Alan hasn't seen these yet. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, let's say...
Well, he had evidence, like...
oh, you know what? I don't have the hair on here.
These guys, Jeffrey and Robert and Keith, they went... He has... It's a little... he has like a couple of hills on his property.
Right.
And the rest of it's all flat. And... I mean, I wanted to see some of the evidence so bad, and these guys would hike up the hill, and I got about halfway, and my leg gave out, so I wound up not making it up the hill. But only I stayed in the flat spot, and I'm a pretty good tracker, and I found some bobcat tracks, I found some older deer tracks, and then I also found some tracks like that he's showing right now. And with the toe in it.
The big toe is on. This is a right foot.
Yeah. Okay.
There's the big toe right there, and then you have other toes which you can't see. But dude, that's it. That's a freaking footprint. All right, you guys. So You know,
and the next footprint from that one was almost 12 feet.
Yeah.
Away. And then the next one from that one actually was around 11 or 10 feet, and it was up the side of the hill, and you could see where it gripped the side of the hill, and it was actually chasing a deer.
Now
I found the deer tracks going the same way as the Bigfoot, and the deer was running because you could see where it was slipping on the dirt,
right,
trying to get away.
Now, what I'm showing you here, guys, there was the boundary fence. Now, granted, there are cows here, but this location here is like a trail, a off-road vehicle trail, and this was caught on the barbed wire. Now, let's think about this. I don't know what kind of hair is on a cow. All right, so I cannot say what this is. But this was on the barbed wire, where there's a road and this goes across the road type of deal. I saw cows. There were cows, so I don't know if this is cow hair or not. Regardless, I grabbed that.
I think that was Robert's foot.
Yeah, that was the other footprint.
Yeah, that was Robert.
That was Robert.
He's like a 9.5 or something like that.
Yeah. So I actually have this hair right now. I actually grabbed it, using the proper techniques to not get it contaminated, and I have it in a cardboard box. And I, at this point in time, I don't know what to do with it. Okay, I we're thinking, is it cow? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I know there is people that can look at the hair
and tell right away
and identify it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if anybody sees this and knows what this is right away, then and tell me. But just because you send us an email saying it's cow, I'm not going to take that as a 100%. That's what it is. If for me to be at ease, I would have to take it to our professor maybe, and just say, hey,
he might be able to do
it because he knows his animals type of deal. Okay, so we got that. All right. Then he's been texting me back and forth. He's been wandering around his property and stuff, and sort of kind of not on his property, but over the street. He found this, and it's an old shed, and he says it's like a that's Mr. Cable. You know what? Let's go ahead and.
He hasn't seen any. Since then, he hasn't seen any military.
Right. Philip.
Yes.
How's it going?
I'm doing fine, sir.
All right. So so let's we got Philip calling in from the Tulare Sci-Fi Con people, so we're gonna go ahead and talk to him, and then we'll get back to the Bigfoot stuff. So, all right. So we got a week to go here, huh, Philip?
Gone straight, and it's shaping up to be a very impressive event. Before are we on the air?
Yes, I'm sorry, we are on the air.
Live, worldwide.
I thought as much, but I want to make sure. We have, of course, a number of celebrities coming in, including Mr. Jeffrey Gonzalez. Your show. In fact, I believe you're going to be doing some interviews while you're there.
Yeah, we're going to bring down the production crew on Sunday, and we're going to shoot some stuff and use it for our TV show.
Yeah, we've already got a couple of people who want to talk to you right off the bat, and I think there'll be far more when we get there. But anyway, we've got a lot of celebrities coming in from Hollywood, actors, movie producers, special effects people, makeup people, people like Rick Mora from Twilight, Carolyn Hennessy from True Blood and Terminator 3, Roxy Astor, who was one of the wrestlers from Glow, Adrian Paul, ladies, for all the ladies out in the audience, Adrian Paul from Highlander and Dark Shadows, Scream Queen Deborah Dutch from Star Trek, David Gerald, who wrote The Trouble with Tribbles, also was the story editor on Land of the Lost, the original. Rex Williams, who's from Destination Truth, Tony Oliver, who was the voiceover actor from Robotech, but also recently starred in the short film based on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rico Ross, who was in Aliens, Babylon 5, Doctor Who. Also Apollonia, the singer from who was in Purple Rain, will also be there. Jimmy Hunt, who was starred in Invaders from Mars back in the 50s. The movie producers like Scott Sargent, Ian Pugh, Adam Rady, Jeannie Williams, from a former network executive for the Fox Network, is going to be on hand, and is currently producing a number of motion pictures. She's going to be there helping present an award. Ethan Dettenmeyer, who is the host and head of Combat Radio, and has been instrumental in getting some of our celebrities. Carl Gottlieb, who wrote Jaws 1 and 2, comic book artists Ed Savage and Edward Llewellyn. We just got a whole ton of people coming to this thing. Altogether, I think if you count all the comic book artists, all the writers, all the actors, movie producers, special effects people, and so on, we have about 70 different celebrities coming into this event. That's extraordinary for this area. Yeah, it is the largest, in terms of that, in terms of the number of celebrities, this is the largest event that's ever been in the San Joaquin Valley, possibly Central California.
Holy mackerel.
So, yeah,
right.
If you can't find something interesting to do or see somebody interesting to talk to at this event, there's something wrong with you. In fact, we're going to have all day on Saturday and Sunday. You'll find panels, you'll see demonstrations on martial arts, on makeup, and so on. There will be movies, of course. Some of the rare movies. We'll have our own small film festival as well. In fact, we'll be having our film festival awards on Sunday at 5 o'clock. And on Saturday, we have our costume contest, of course, and we'll be having a number of celebrities who will be judging our costume contest. Yeah. So we just got a whole bunch of different stuff going on. So, in fact, we have a special salute to Jaws, since we have a couple of the people that were instrumental in the making of the movie Jaws on hand, and since this is the 40th anniversary of Jaws.
Wow. Yeah. Now are you going to have cosplay?
There will be absolutely cosplay. In fact, if you come in costume, you actually get a discount for getting in the door. By the way, it's about $10 a day to get in, unless you want to go for the whole weekend, in which case it's $16. But if you come in costume, or if you're a member of the military, you get in at a discount.
Oh. $16 is nothing, man. That's absolutely nothing.
But you and I both know, if you know anything about Comic-Con, for example, which is the most famous convention in the world right now, it costs hundreds of dollars. In fact, there are scalpers who will walk, no joke, my wife and I, when we walk out the doors of Comic-Con, because I go there to sign autographs every year, and for members of the audience who don't know, I'm a movie producer, among other things, and a writer, and so I go to there and I sign autographs. Well, when I walk out the door, going to the street to get some lunch or something, there'll be a dozen scalpers trying to buy my badge from me for $500 so they can scalp it to someone else or even hire some money.
Wow.
It's extraordinary, the amount of money that these people make off of these badges, and because it's almost impossible to get a badge.
Right.
If you're fortunate, you can spend maybe a couple $100 getting a badge for a convention, so $10 is pretty darn reasonable.
Yes, it is, absolutely. And in the Central San Joaquin Valley, there is nothing like this ever been put on before. I mean, in a smaller sense.
Yes, yeah,
right.
You'll see a comic book convention or an anime convention,
right,
or something of that sort, and you'll see maybe one or two, maybe half a dozen celebrities,
right,
but not something like 70,
right,
and not quite of the same caliber. And I'm not putting any of these others down at all.
No, not at all.
Also, you should also keep in mind, folks, this is also something that's being done as a fundraiser for charity. This is not a money-making event for some corporation. This is actually being done to help the Make the World a Better Place Children's Foundation. Our primary purpose, other than to entertain, is to make sure that homeless kids are no longer homeless. And it helps them and it helps their families.
Right on.
So that's really important that people understand that. So if you come to this event, not only do you have a great time, and there'll be food vendors and there'll be people who will be doing all kinds of great acts out there. Doing, I can't even list all the people that are going to be there and all the stuff that's going on because you got too much. But one thing I just found out this a couple of days ago, we're going to have like the car from Back to the Future there.
What?
And the Batmobile will be there. So if you, like I said, if you can't find something that's going to you want to take your picture next to, or
I should have taken the van.
There's something wrong with you.
I should have taken our ambulance. It's too.
Well, hey, it's not too late. Bring it on down.
If I can get it.
It's going to be a fun event, and the only difficulty I've had is trying to figure out ways to figure out the program, because I'm in charge of the programming for the event, is figure out ways to incorporate as many of these people as possible on panels and special events. So it's going to be that was the only difficulty I had, but it's going to be a really fun event for everybody.
Now this is
also kind of neat. And it'll be great for an opportunity for you as well.
Yeah.
Because you get this opportunity to talk to all of these people who are in the industry.
Right.
Because been in this business for a long, long time. And I know that just about everybody at some point or another, either they or someone they know has had some bizarre experience, either a weird sighting or some paranormal experience, or maybe you might want to call it an extra normal experience.
Right.
I myself have had those happen. Members of my family, my wife, Deborah Dutch, the horror star, that's the famous scream queen, has had a couple of things like that happen. In fact, she wanted to talk to you about that at the convention.
Cool.
So, yeah, there'll be a lot of opportunity to be able to discuss all this with people who've actually had these odd experiences.
Awesome. And, you know, this is only the second year you guys have done this.
Yeah, you know, it's very interesting. Last year, this was done as a way of helping a local charity, and it was kind of an experiment just to see how well it would turn out. With almost no publicity except for some flyers and a little bit of notice on Facebook, 1,000 people showed up. And I got involved because I became one of the, quote, celebrities because of my work in the movie business. And I came down and I said, you know, these guys kind of need some help. So I asked them to supply them with movies, and I got them some other guests. So I think we had like 20 celebrities at this thing last year. But the weird thing is 1,000 people showed up. And we thought, well, you know, if it was actually enough time to plan this properly, make it a 2-day event, maybe this would expand and spend some real time to promote it, and we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, we're going to get a lot more than 1,000.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't honestly know. But if all goes well, we'll be doing this every year.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Now, where's this being held at?
This is being held. I'm glad you brought that up. I might have forgotten about that. It's being held in the city of Tulare next week, next Saturday and Sunday, at the Tulare Agri Center.
Okay.
Which of course is where they have the famous the Ag Show.
Right. And
we'll be in Pavilion C.
Okay.
And there'll be signs that will hopefully direct everybody correctly to the right gates so they can park and get registered. And by the way, every person who goes through the gate and gets registered also gets a ticket, because every half hour we're going to give away a prize.
Cool. All right. Right on.
So yeah, it's going to be very cool. Not only do you get all this for $10, you also get stuff in the process as well.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah, it'll be in Pavilion C.
Okay.
And right next door to that is the Hilders building, which is where we have all of our panels and a lot of our movies.
Awesome. Now,
and in fact, our contests as well.
Right on. Now, let's talk about you a little bit.
Okay.
You've been in the industry a long time. Tell everybody who you are and what you've done.
Okay. Well, first of all, my name is Philip Cable. I was originally a playwright, could not make a living being a playwright, so I worked my way through the movie industry back about over 40 years ago. And started off as a screenwriter, eventually worked my way, worked my way down to being a producer, but anyway, I became a director and a producer. At one point, I was also a movie distributor, selling movies overseas. I specialized in doing low-budget movies. Now I do big-budget films. In fact, I have if I can give myself a quick plug,
yeah.
We're going to be doing a great major film that I probably shouldn't mention what studio yet because we're in negotiations with them. But it'll be an independent film, but a major film released to a major studio based upon the life of Chenault, it's also called Chenault and the Flying Tigers. Of course, the famous combat aerial team of World War II, who was a great hero in China. And shortly thereafter, we're also going to be making a movie based upon the last literary work of Alex Haley. We're working in cooperation with his family to make a movie called The Keepers of Honor, which is about the origin of the Coast Guard, which was the original Coast Guard was composed almost entirely of ex-slaves. So we'll be making a movie about that as well. And we have some other projects we're going to be doing as well. And so perhaps one of them also based on a comic book, because I own a small comic book company as well.
Wow.
But I've been in this business for quite a while. I've made a lot of movies.
Awesome. Now, next week, what are the times that this thing is going to...
Okay. We start at 8 o'clock in the morning. I recommend, if you really want to go to this thing, because we're expecting a big turnout, get there as early as you can. Officially, it all starts opening, and you can start getting registered at 9 o'clock. But I personally think you got to get there a little earlier than that.
Okay.
There's only so many people we can get in through the door as fast. We'll do it as quickly as we can, but you can only get so many people in, per minute.
Right.
So I suggest get there no later than 9 o'clock if you can.
Okay.
And the doors will open at 10 o'clock, and we go in from 10 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock the officially on Saturday,
Okay.
and we'll go longer because at 6 o'clock that's when our costume contest. So we'll figure about 7:30.
Okay, now
And then we go on Sunday. We go from 10 until 5, and at 5 o'clock that's when our film festival awards are.
okay. So since we're going to be going on Saturday morning, we need to get there early, right?
Either that, or in the case of anybody that needs to set up, you can come there on Friday night, anytime after 7 o'clock, and you can be setting up.
Okay, I might have to think about that and possibly do it on Friday. Well, we'll see. We're pretty good at setting up.
Yeah,
you know.
But in your case, if you can't do it on Friday night, then come there early as you can on Saturday morning.
Okay, and I think that's probably going to be the plan. Is we'll arrive there Saturday morning. I have help, and we'll be able to set everything up. With
that
ease.
Sounds great.
Not a problem at all.
Do you have RV parking?
RV parking?
Yeah.
We have special parking for all the people, all the celebrities, and all of our vendors, which is totally independent from the public parking. But there's going to be a ton of parking for
Are they
everybody,
asking?
public as well as all the
They
celebrities
asking?
as well.
Oh.
No, like some people, the vendors and stuff. They,
Oh, right.
they cruise in their fifth wheels and trailers.
Right.
and stuff.
Right. So, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I had no clue you were going to have that many celebrities there. That's going to be awesome for us.
To be perfectly honest, we didn't think we were going to get anywhere near that many. We're actually kind of still getting over the amazement of having that many people who want to come. Part of the reason we're doing it, though, is because they want to help the charity.
Sure. And that's awesome. That is totally awesome. So a lot of these celebrities are going to be like signing autographs and stuff, right?
Yes, signing autographs. If you want to have your picture taken with them, in many cases you can.
Okay.
And they'll be selling pictures, photographs, movies, maybe TV episodes that have appeared in. It all depends on the individual.
Right.
And at the same time, there'll also be combat radio with which is what Ethan Dettenmeyer, who also will be there. We'll be actually doing live broadcasts for his radio program, which will be pretty much heard throughout much of America and Hawaii, I believe, as well, and perhaps even elsewhere. They even have some places overseas that do the show.
Right
so,
on. Okay.
Plus, of course, they'll also be on a lot of panels and demonstrations. Some of them will also be acting as judges for some of our contests.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, I am looking forward to it. I am going to start putting everything together that I need to take with me Saturday morning. I'm looking forward to it.
From day one, I wanted to get you on this show, and we're all going to have a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So, and with that many celebrities, I think we're going to get some good stuff for TV. I really do.
I hope so. I really do. And I believe that, first of all, like I said, I think everybody's had an experience.
Right.
The question is coaxing it out of them.
Yes. And you know what? That's not going to be a problem. I think we'll be able to do that. So.
And one of these times after this convention and I actually have a little moment to read, I'll be happy to come on your program and I'll tell you something about the stuff that's happened to me.
Heck yeah. That's perfect. That would be awesome. So, all right, Philip, thank you very much for calling in and filling in on the event next week. And we'll see you on Saturday morning.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you letting me call on your show.
Awesome.
You take care. Have a great evening.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Philip. We'll see you next Saturday.
Bye-bye.
Okay, see ya. Had no clue there was going to be that many. I went on their website and I saw, quite a bit, but not that many. I guess it must have been a last rush at the very end. Central California doesn't have these things at all. They don't. And the location where they're having this, if you guys don't know where it's at, it's where they have the world's largest agriculture fair. I don't know what else to call it. People from all over the world come to this. Literally, Japan, China, Australia. They show the newest technology for farmers. How to, everything farming, this is the place to go every year. And I think it was last month when they had it. This is a very large facility, and it could pretty much accommodate anything. Obviously, they're only going to be in maybe 1 or 2 buildings, but the buildings are huge. So I can't wait for all those people who want to go. You can just buy the tickets at the door. You don't have to buy them in advance, and we will see you there. We're going to have a 10 by 10 foot booth. We're going to set some props up and some a location where you can take photographs and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to charge anybody. We're just there to promote ourselves and answer any questions, and mostly to get some great stories for TV, because I have 26 episodes that we got to do, and maybe I can get some of these actors or actresses later on to come down to Fresno to shoot the TV show, and that's what my main priority is going to be. So, all right. So if you guys are going, we will see you there. All right. Get back to Bigfoot. Let me get to the picture. All right. It's that right there. Okay. We left off here. Now, Bigfoot. Across the street, this is pretty much the area where he lives across the street, and then if you walk down further, you have all this. And he says this is an old PG&E building, but all it is the shed. That's all it is. So he went inside the shed, and he took some pictures. And what he got was basically, let me open this up a little bit. It's just empty inside, right? It looked like a lot of water, mud. That's just basically inside. But what got my attention is at the end, and he took a photograph of that, and I'm going to show that to you right now. Really? There it is. It looked like someone or something stacked some branches, pieces of wood, like in a little pile. But the only problem is, why would somebody do that? Now, for all those people who know Bigfoot and know their signals, know what they do to mark their territory, maybe, know what to look for if there are children Bigfoot playing around. This is not normal, right, Alan? I mean, no. I mean,
who threw that in there?
Like, what would be the purpose of a human being, like let's say myself, or not a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old wouldn't be out there on this location by themselves? Now this is what I mean by trying to debunk this. All right, what would be the purpose of somebody like me making a pile like this in an empty shed? What would be the purpose of that? Now, let's go back to this photo. All right. Do you see any broken branches and boards laying around out there? No. It's like they would have to bring that in from a far, I don't want to say far distance.
Yeah, they gathered it.
To gather it and to bring it in here. All right. So let's think about that. Let me go back to that picture. And that's what we do when we go out, especially up to the mountains. We find weird things like this. And when I say weird, and I'm sure you guys have seen photographs on Facebook and on the internet where there are large tree branches broken off and sometimes put at different angles to represent crosses, or pile up, different large branches that a human being would, two people, it would take maybe 3 or 4 to move something like that to put in a position. And then we're looking at this, and I know you guys are going, it's just a bunch of bunch of branches and boards in a pile. But then again, that was placed there. All right, look at it. That was placed there. Look at the little broken branches on top. You see that right there? I'm going to zoom in on it. Oops. Okay, do you see that right there? All right. That was placed there. Little tiny rabbits didn't bring the little branches and place them in a little pile. A little kid didn't do that. That was placed there. Then now you have to think, why? Why would somebody do that? That's a waste of freaking time and energy. Not unless you're a Bigfoot. This is the way, sometimes how they mark the territory.
Or hide, like they build that up.
Okay.
And they're in the inside's totally clear, just only the side that's open has that. Or really, it's open on the other side too. But
would maybe now? I mean, as a
like
human
a
being,
nursery.
Would a place where they would lay down to rest, like a little bed and a little nest. That awfully, ouch! That would hurt me, but we're talking Bigfoots now.
He on his property. One of the things, like when you guys are out hiking around, he had one side of a hill that was a lot of rocks.
Yes.
And it was on a northern facing side of the hill, and on the rocks was all this moss. Okay, really, really thick green moss, really thick. And it looked like somebody, and nobody goes up there, okay? Somebody had taken the moss off some of the rocks. Now, I've found places where Bigfoot, will sleep on a regular basis, and a lot of times they'll line the area that they're sleeping with that moss. And they even eat the moss, too. I mean, they'll sit there and munch it.
Right.
But only, to me, it looked like they took it somewhere. They didn't, there was nothing.
Like, where'd it go?
But I know that he also, in those rocks, there's a lot of caves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, big ones, too. There was some of them I wanted to climb into, but, I'm not going to climb in without a light and a gun. Sorry.
Chicken.
Yeah, because I couldn't see the back end of it. And I know that they could have went back in there and made a pillow with the moss or something.
Sure.
And
sure.
I think that's where he was saying, where did all the moss go? That I didn't tell him when he was there, when we were standing there, but that's what I thought all the moss went, because I've seen that like a few times.
Right. Now, on his property, and I think I barely showed this last week before we had to leave for the show, because the show ended. Let me go back to that one photograph. And it is...
See, now on the hair, we don't know if it's Bigfoot hair or not.
No,
and
no
it
clue.
could be cow hair.
Sure.
What we don't know is someone that knows how to identify the hair.
Right.
Okay. Like,
well, now
it
Carl Johansson might.
He might, but I mean, like on the chat, they're like, somebody's saying we don't know what to do. Well, it's not that we don't know what to do with it.
I mean, we know what to do with it.
We just don't know anybody that does that with it.
Right. I mean, we couldn't take this hair to Mickey Burrell.
Right. No.
Because that's not his profession is not animal hair per se.
But we could take all our videos and pictures to him, and he'll tell us if they're
fake
they're
or
hoax.
not. Right.
Yeah. And he also, when we have a site where we think there might be DNA of a Bigfoot, and we usually have him come out, and he does like a crime scene investigation.
Right.
And he does everything, and that way we don't contaminate anything. And he takes all the pictures, and I mean, he treats it just like a crime scene. And then we have a guy that will do the DNA for us also. But I mean, we just don't have a hair guy.
No. The guy, the DNA guy,
he might be able to do the
hair. He could probably do the hair only because, that's where the DNA is at the bottom, or the,
And then we don't have a budget like Finding Bigfoot.
No,
where
we don't.
They can go and find somebody that does that, and then pay them $30,000.
Somebody who we can trust.
Right.
Because, sometimes the people that Finding Bigfoot take the stuff to, it's like, there are scientists out there, you guys, who don't want to even be involved in Bigfoot, to even say Bigfoot exist, because it's going to change the world as we know it. So they'll do anything and everything possible to deny or to discredit anything. And that's what we're afraid of. All right? We have to find somebody who we can trust. Now, we have somebody, but it's going to cost some money at this time. But, if I can keep this hair and keep it where it's not contaminated, later on, when we get picked up and there's a budget, boom.
Yeah, and if it doesn't turn out to be something other than Bigfoot, you know what I mean? Like, if it's something other, then we'll just toss it.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it turns out to be something nobody knows what it is, then it goes to our DNA guy.
Oh my gosh!
Like right away.
So now the photograph that I'm showing to you guys right now, Well, Jeff, what? It's a piece of wood. Okay. If you would be standing right in front of this picture, to the right there is a tree, and overhead there are branches going out. This bark came off of the limb, which is about 6-7 feet away. All right, but the limb is not on top of this location. So what I'm trying to get at is that this little branch here with the bark hanging on it was placed there. There is no way, no how this bark peeled off itself and landed on this little branch. Now, there, right where and you can't see it, but right in the dead center, the bark has a little hook on it. Something took the bark and hung it on this branch because it did not fly off the tree limb where this bark came off and did it and landed perfectly with the hook on here. That's what I'm trying to get at. Now, you're saying, why would somebody, human being, do that? Well, that's just it. This is his property. No one goes up under this tree. As a matter of fact, he says no one has been up there in a long time. We're talking years.
That's where, right near there is where all the moss was taken.
The moss and the footprints.
And footprints.
Right? Okay,
and
so
a bedding area, like a napping place.
Yeah, so... And after we talked to Emerald and I talked to him, a couple of weeks ago, I told him to start looking for weird signs like this, something that just doesn't make any sense. This does not make any sense. We tried to debunk how this bark could have peeled off by itself on the tree limb, which is, again, 6-7 feet away.
And then close to the ground.
Yeah, and then this is now hanging like somebody placed it there, guys. All right? Now we're thinking a human wouldn't do that. It's a waste of freaking time. Besides, he says, his kids are old now. They don't go up there like little kids and start playing around. Even if they were kids, they wouldn't do this. All right? Kids would not be hanging bark on a little tree. That's just stupid. No. But if you're thinking like a Bigfoot and marking your territory, or young Bigfoots just screwing around, this is what you get right here.
And we know there's little ones in the tracks of the big ones, finding little bitty tracks.
Yeah.
Where the little bitty tracks never stepped anywhere except inside the big track. So the bigger Bigfoot was walking, and then the little one was stepping right in the same track as the big one. And we don't know if there was two little ones or if there was one little one, but there was at least one little one. You know what I mean? But we were hearing sightings of two little ones.
Right now, I even forgot I had this photograph, so I put it up right now. The tree is to the right, and do you see what I'm getting at? A strong wind did not come in. Okay, let's try to debunk this right now. A tornado came in with a hurricane winds of 100 miles per hour, took it off the limb and hung it right there. No, that didn't happen. Right? Did a cow come by and brush? No. And all of a sudden the tree bark fell on. No, and
he doesn't even have cows.
No, he doesn't. Okay. Did a bear come on his property? No. Somebody on chat, let's see. How do you think this happened? And we found the branch. The branch is, again, 7 feet over to the right. All right. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you guys as far as little signals, little signs to look for? When somebody tells us, I think I have Bigfoot on my property, but I don't know what to look for. This is the stuff you need to start looking for. Footprints that are 10 feet stride, areas where there is a location on the weeds where it's all matted down, And you know, we've got to tell them that, Alan. We found places where there was matted down, right? Now, check this out, guys. Example, my desk, all right? Let's just say a circumference of 6-7 feet, and it was all matted down, but you're looking around the matted down area, and there's no place where something came in to the matted down. Now, let's think Bigfoot. Let's walk 10 feet radius outside that matted down, and guess what we found?
Like what I was, see the rock behind it? There was rocks. So in Bigfoot don't like to leave tracks.
Right.
I mean, they hate to leave a track. It's rare that you find them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And even though at night we heard it go through the area, and
Right.
then in the next morning we go looking, no tracks.
No, because
they're stepping on rocks and
Yes,
logs and
trees,
anything
yeah.
but that, or they're leaping, doing big giant leaps where it's further than what we're looking. Like we find one track and then we don't find any more, and it's further than what where our mentality is. Right? I mean, it might be 20 feet over, and I'm starting to think more like that, and we're finding more tracks like that too.
Right.
Start thinking further out, and then you start finding.
Right,
track,
and it boggles the mind when we're out there finding this. We're going, what? Even Robert was going, and Keith. Alan and I have been doing this for a long time. Keith, he's like 2 weeks into it, new, because it's his property. Now Robert Scott, one of our team members, who is sort of kind of new with the Bigfoot, he's starting to realize that. And he's a hiker.
He was finding stuff.
Yeah, he was finding stuff, and now he's learning what to look for.
Yeah.
All these years he goes hiking everywhere, and he probably walks right over Bigfoot prints and just doesn't even know it because he didn't know what to look for. Now he does. Now he's going, holy crap. One of the episodes for TV, and we're going to probably have to do this here pretty soon, up the spot where we go, where the windows situation occurred, and where we go all the time, we were hiking, and we came up to this location where there were tree limbs. There were tree limbs that were piled up like a wall, and we were going, what the heck? Somebody physically did that. It didn't happen naturally. There are no humans up there. Sometimes there are, but there would be no purpose for a human to stack big ass tree limbs like that. So now,
pole size.
Right. So now you're going, okay, this is not normal. It's out of the ordinary. Let's start looking around for some other out of the ordinary things. And we started walking around. And I noticed this tree, and I looked at this tree. I'm going, oh my God, that is an awesome tree for a freaking tree house. And I'm starting to look up, and I'm going, there are no tree limbs at about a 15-foot height is where the tree limbs start, right? But after you start looking at the tree limbs going up, you're going, man, that's an awesome tree to climb if I wanted to climb a tree. So I started looking up, right? And I looked up. I'm going, what the hell is that? And I got my binoculars, and see, Danny was there. You weren't there because you couldn't walk.
There.
That's right. But I took pictures, and Robert Scott was there. Trevin was there, and I go, look up there, you guys, and everybody looked, and everybody's like, what was up there, guys? Let me tell you. And I took pictures. We showed them on one of the shows last year, right after Memorial Day. No, right?
Yeah, it was right after.
Right after, okay. Okay, check this
coming up, by the way.
Yeah, check this out. This tree was very, very tall. It's probably 120, 130 feet tall tree, right? At about 80, 85 feet, I noticed there was a what do you call it? A knot, a tree knot. One of those round knot holes in the tree. What do you call them?
Yeah, knot hole.
A knot hole, right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
what it is. Yeah.
And in this knothole, you guys, I swear to God, and everybody saw it, there was a piece of wood stuck in there, shoved in there. And you're going, time out.
65 feet up.
Higher than that.
Higher.
Okay, higher than that. And then you're going, whoa, time out. And I'm looking at this piece of wood. It's not part of the tree, you guys. And I'm going, that tree, that piece of wood that's stuck in there, it's from another tree that's not from this area. And I'm going, whoa, time out. Somebody or something got this piece of wood and stuck it in the wood knot hole, and you're looking at it and you're going, that is out of place. That got placed there. Okay, then right to the side of it, there was like 2 branches, right? And on top of those 2 branches, there was another piece of wood that was not part of the tree that was placed there. And
yeah, it looked like firewood.
Like firewood, yes.
Yeah,
like firewood. It looked like firewood.
Firewood is
yes,
what it looked like.
Exactly. And then 5-6 feet above that, there's this tree limb coming off the tree, straight across. And I'm going to say 5 feet of it was completely peeled off of the bark, and it was green for about 5 feet. Like something peeled it off, or something was swinging on it. All right? I took pictures. That, my friends, a human being did not do that. Did a bear take a piece of firewood, take 2 pieces of firewood, and climb that tree with a piece of firewood in its mouth, and got up there and holding on with 2 paws, got the tree and stuck in the tree? No. All right? Something got up that 85-foot height and placed those 2 pieces of wood there. Then you're going, who peeled the bark off of that limb? 5 feet, enough. All right, and it was still green. It was still green.
Well, what was Danny was telling me, even if he wanted to climb that tree, he couldn't.
Well, we couldn't
because the branches were so high up.
There were 15 before the first branch. It would be 15 feet up high. All right. Now, you guys who know what I do for a living, and you guys probably have seen photographs and videos of me gaffing telephone poles, gaffing trees to put up cameras at around 10 to 11 feet. All right. Now, I know this is going to be funny, and you guys are going to make jokes about it, but I'm afraid of heights. Now, you guys are probably going, what the hell are you doing working for the phone company? Well, when I got the opportunity to be part of AT&T, I took the test because I thought, because before that, I was programming telephones. That's what I was doing in L.A. And I thought, okay, I'll move back home, and I will work for AT&T, and I will program telephones and just move back home with my family, right? No. I had to go to climbing school. I barely made it. I almost failed climbing school. And when you fail climbing school, that's it. You're done. You don't go to the next step. I'm afraid of heights, you guys. To this day, at AT&T, I will take my fiberglass, 20-foot ladder everywhere and use that. I don't care how heavy it is, before I put 2 little nails on the inside of my feet to gaff up a telephone pole. Because, if you don't know what gaffing out is, if you gaff out, I will have splinters in my you-know-what between my legs, and no. So, when we go up to the mountains, all right, I came up with this idea a long time ago that, Bigfoots, when they're walking eye level and below level. So a lot of people put up their game cameras about waist high, right?
Yeah.
David did that. That's all David did, was put them really low.
Everybody I seen put game cameras, puts them
right.
At least waist to chest high.
Right.
Nobody puts them any higher.
So I decided, hey, let's see if we can fake these guys out. And when I say fake them out, I say fake Bigfoot. So now I take my gaffs and my climbing gear that I purchased, not AT&T. So if AT&T is watching right now, no, I went out and purchased my own stuff, all right? And I gaff up the trees to about 10, 12, actually, I gapped to about 10 feet, and that puts me at about 4 feet above that to about 14, 15 feet. And now we're putting cameras at that height, and I tilt them downward, all right? And that's what we're doing, because I have the ability to do that, guys. And I think I am the only one who started this, and this was like, how long ago did I start to do this? About 3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
Right? And so I had my climbing gear there at the spot when we found this tree, and the stripped bark and the 2 pieces of wood up there. So what we did is we found 2 trees about 50 feet, 60 feet away, and I climbed them, I gapped them up, and I placed 2 cameras. I did 2 cameras?
2
cameras. And towards the base of that tree that the pieces of wood are up on, right? And we've had those cameras up there since last year.
Yeah.
Okay, the batteries are probably dead already. All right.
But that didn't erase the SD
No,
card.
we got the
That
SD
probably
card still in
has
there.
Pictures.
So, episode for TV right here. I am going to show you that tree with the 2 pieces of wood that are up there that shouldn't be up there, plus that piece of tree limb that's completely stripped of its bark. All right. Now, try to debunk that. Did a human being do that in the middle of nowhere? This is not a campsite, you guys. This is in the middle of freaking nowhere. All right. A human being did not climb that and do that. There would be absolutely no reason. It'd be a waste of freaking time to do that. Why would no human being did that? So we try to debunk it. Did a bear do it? There's no way. A bear would not do something like that. All right.
Well, I've seen bears in trees, but they don't carry things with them. They don't.
Yeah. I mean, these pieces of wood, guys, are probably 3 feet to 4 feet long.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I don't even think a bear could carry it.
Exactly. In its mouth, no. What would be the purpose?
I've watched them climb a tree. I mean, they'll get pretty far up there sometimes, but only they don't carry nothing.
No. So what would be the purpose? There is no purpose. Now, if you're a Bigfoot, now you guys, we're there for one reason only, because we know the Bigfoots are there. All right. This is where it all happens. So we're wandering around looking for signs, looking for signals. And it just so happens that we looked up and we found something that does not make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, in that area, they whistle at us.
They throw things at us.
They mumble like a human. It sounds like somebody talking off in the distance, mumbling.
Right.
They roar
at us. And you know what? And I have the roar, obviously recorded on my iPhone still.
Mm-hmm.
If you were not there to feel the roar, Danny.
It was like King Kong.
Oh my God. Danny, Alan, Robert, and myself, we walked in. The gates were locked. We had to walk in. We walked in about halfway in, maybe 3/4, and something started to roar at us. Now, we talked about it last year, right after Memorial Day weekend, because I actually have it here. It's 30 after. We're going to have Heidi on here pretty soon.
You know what, we probably should, like you keep on talking about the TV show.
Okay.
We need to let everybody know the internet show isn't stopping.
Yeah, we're not stopping this, guys.
Yeah, we will still bring you stuff here too.
Right.
And probably everything we're talking about.
Yes. So, those people who are listening to us in Australia, New Zealand, Saudi Arabia,
Canada,
you're still going to be able to witness all this.
Yes.
All right? Don't worry about it. As a matter of fact, we're still trying to figure how we can, get the episodes that we do for TV and show it to everybody. There's going to be a way we're going to do this, but we don't know yet. So
it might be after the season's over.
We don't know. We don't know yet how this is going to work. Okay, but there are. Again, we are investigators. We don't sit behind our computers and our desk all freaking day and investigate on the internet. That's not what we do.
I do.
No, you don't. You go with a shut up.
No, I mean, but I do that too.
Yeah, you do that too. Yeah.
I mean, I watch everybody's.
Sure, I do too.
I read Dr. Matthew Johnson's stuff.
Sure.
I keep up with Cliff Barackman and Bobo and everybody. I mean, a lot of Bigfoot groups and stuff.
Right. But
I look at all the Where's Waldo pictures.
But what I'm trying to get at, you guys, is some of you guys out there are probably listening to what I just said, and you're probably going, bull, S-H-I-T. You don't have pictures of this. There's no way. There's no way. Absolutely no way you're making all this up. Or you're probably going to say, you climbed that tree and you placed it up there. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you're out of your freaking mind, okay? Because when I get to 10 feet on my gaffs, my knees start doing this, all right? Because I'm afraid of heights, all right? I'm telling you right now, and probably on the TV show, you're going to see me gaff up, and you're going to probably, I'm going to have the camera guy zoom in on my knees so you can see my knees shake. Because I swear to God, you guys, I'm afraid of heights. I went up, for our vacation, we went up to Cancun, and we went to the pyramids up there. And I climbed one of the pyramids with my mom, thinking nothing. I got up there, I froze. I almost could not come down. And this was I think I was in junior high or in high school. And I freaked out. And I was up there for about an hour. I had to calm myself down. I just didn't realize, because the pyramids, the steps are like this.
Right, straight up.
They're straight
almost.
up.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that until I got up.
Never look down, right?
Dude, I don't know how to this day how I got down. But I took my mom right behind me, holding my ass, bringing me down. I was scared out of my mind. So if you're thinking one of us climbed up that tree to put freaking 2 pieces of wood up there and to strip the bark, then it's time for you to find another show.
Yeah, all
right?
It wasn't me. I didn't even leave the trail.
Dude, you can't even climb up that hill to get there.
It was off the trail, So I didn't go off the trail.
Okay. We're not lying on the things we're finding for you guys.
It
all right?
is so fun. When you first pull in, and in your mind you're thinking, okay, because sometimes we go and there's nothing.
Right. Completely dead.
Yeah, you think that they're 100 zillion miles away. And then sometimes you pull in and we're not even where we think they might be at.
Right.
We're up at the top and we're waiting for the other cars to show up, and all of a sudden we're dodging things. They're throwing stuff at us and whistling and screaming and stuff. It's like, ooh, this is going to be a really good night.
Day, yeah.
And then we get down there and then they shut up. And then it's dead all the rest of the night.
Right.
But that's how it goes.
Yeah. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose at this. Okay.
Yeah. But it's still fun.
But
man.
we go up a lot.
My heart pounds, man.
We go up a lot, you guys, and the more often you go, the odds are in your favor. All right. So we get out a lot, and it's cool that we're getting phone calls now from people who are experiencing this stuff down here on the valley floor. I mean,
I would have never thought.
No, in a million years, man, never.
But it makes a lot of sense. I mean,
yeah.
When I was a kid, I grew up out there in that area, and I walked those canals, and I ate off the fat of the land. I mean, believe it or not, there's peaches out there that you don't never see. They go to Japan or someplace.
And they're probably huge, huh?
Yeah, man, they're like big old mush ball size.
Right.
And they're so juicy you can't keep from getting it all over you. I mean, big old huge giant plums and
grapefruit and the tangerines.
Yeah. Everything.
Right.
Almonds, walnuts,
right. Pecans,
figs. Everything.
Everything.
Grapes. All the different kind of variety
of
grapes.
This is a buffet smorgasbord for Bigfoot.
Yep.
All right? And they're nocturnal, you guys. They don't come out during the day. When everybody's asleep, dreaming away, at 2 o'clock in the morning, this is when it all happens.
The grapes or whatever.
They're out at 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And this is the time where these people are telling us that they're witnessing this, Joe and Keith.
Like he was saying that the thing was looking in his daughter's window.
Yeah.
And his daughter was seeing it looking in the window.
And,
I didn't meet her, but she's young, a little young girl.
Right.
And pretty cute. And Bigfoot's like that.
Yeah, they do, guys.
that'll draw their attention. I mean, in fact, I was listening to some Native. I posted it last night on Facebook.
I heard that. I actually listened to it.
And the guy was saying, if you're out camping and stuff like that, and you have your women, do not, and children,
right,
especially girls,
right,
do not leave them alone. If you're barbecuing, keep them close to you. Don't. And they were talking about right where they live. They're not talking about out camping. They're on the res where they live at. They're saying he's teaching the people on the reservation not to wander off, not to, keep an eye on your children. Women, be careful because that's what they're after.
Right. And
he said, they'll carry you off.
Yeah.
And you'll be gone, and nobody will know what happened to you.
Missing 411.
Exactly.
David Paulides, you guys. I tell you, he's not going to tell you what's doing it.
Well, some of his is probably aliens too.
Probably.
He covers the whole gamut.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, we have some really good abduction stories. Oh my God.
So, okay. Can you hear it in my voice? The passion that we have for this is because we are finding strong evidence of what we believe is placing these out of place items in certain locations that shouldn't be there. All right, we're dismissing it as no human being would do this, but we're there for a reason. We're finding footprints. We're finding 8-inch lips with 6-inch nostrils pressed against the window of my truck.
Yeah, with snot.
We
got the DNA tested.
All right. Okay.
Get back human.
All right. So
think about that.
This is the stuff.
Giant nose and lips and snot rolling down through the middle of it.
And if you guys don't know that story,
back human,
oh my God!
And that had to be the biggest human in the world, like some kind of giant.
I know it wasn't contaminated. Okay. All right. You know what? We can continue on with the Bigfoot, but we have other things to talk about. Let's get a hold of Heidi.
It was my
in
favorite topic.
Chicago, and we're going to talk about some UFOs and some out of the ordinary weird stuff, because Heidi is all about weird.
Well, I'm finding there's some cool people on Facebook that do some serious Bigfooting. We're not the only ones that do it. We're not saying and claim that we're like the greatest, bestest.
No.
There's some cool people out there that do Bigfooting and do it seriously, and I wish I could go footing with them. Man, really, I do.
Good evening, guys. How's it
Hi,
going?
Heidi.
Hi, Heidi.
Hey, what's shaking, bacon?
We're just having a blast. That's
My
all.
bacon's like relaxing.
We're having a blast, man. Oh, excuse me.
Very cool. Oh, it's always good to, chew the fat with a friend, right?
Yeah. And in this case, we have thousands of friends who are listening and watching us right now, so that's awesome. Whether they believe us or not is another story, but you know what, guys? I tell you, we're not making this stuff up. We're not.
Yeah. Heidi's the outlander, and we're the outlandish. You know what I mean?
There you go. My goodness.
So.
It's good to be inspired in the outlandish world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh. Okay, well, let's get to the pictures. We're going to be showing you some photographs right now that Heidi sent me personally, and she also sent the photographs to the Art Bell people. Keith placed them on the Art Bell website, so you can go and follow us there if you would like, or follow us here. All right, Heidi, I'm going to put up picture number 1. You are go.
All right. Well, I guess I will introduce myself a little bit. For those people who do not know me, my name is Heidi Hollis. I like to give odd advice. I always say I'm someone who has been there, seen that, experienced it, freaked out, found some answers, wrote about it, got over it, and now I'm hoping to help others do the same thing and understand our crazy, crazy world. And if you guys have a story, or you want some advice, or you want to have a comment put out there, feel free to get in touch with me. I don't care what the topic is on, angels, aliens, we'll cover it. Feel free to write me at oddadvice@gmail.com. And also feel free to visit my main website, which is HeidiHollis.com, which has a lot of different information, and my email is on there as well. So,
well, in fact,
I thought I would start today off, since you guys are like nice and snug and warm where you're at, but most of the country is in a deep freeze.
Oh, yeah. How cold is it?
We need to blame Elsa for that, right?
Oh, yes. Ice
Elsa.
Queen did this. Yeah. I don't know how cold it is today. I didn't check the, the temperature out there, but it's just been so, 0 below zero, just freezing.
You're in Chicago, right?
I am in Chicago, yeah. And my goodness, I wanted to share, some of the snow that the poor East Coast has been getting. They've just been dumped on. What do they got? 7 feet of snow out there or something?
That's crazy.
And this picture here that you guys are looking at.
So it's like the
now,
tundra.
I have most of my life lived in freezing and frozen tundra of Wisconsin, okay? I've seen a lot of snow in my days, and now I'm in Chicago, and I have yet to see snowflakes like these.
I thought those were leaves.
People keep talking about the different weather patterns and stuff going on, and I guess, during the January 26th blizzard that hit up there in New York, a lot of people were seeing these odd-shaped snowflakes that you see
Wow.
here. Yeah. So these are really, they're stars. They are freaking stars. Come on now. How this was explained, okay. That if snowflakes stayed separated from each other like these in the photos, you can sometimes see the structure of snowflakes with your naked eye. Dr. Liebrick says that there are many different types of crystal patterns, and these star-shaped snowflakes are just one example. The dendrite, a star shape with varying patterns, is the most common shape of a snowflake. Based on its description, he said you're also seeing rimmed crystals in these photos. And it continues to say, clouds are made of countless water drops, and sometimes these droplets collide with a stick, and they stick to snow crystals. The frozen droplets are called rime. All the different types of snowflakes can be found decorated with rime. And so when the coverage is especially heavy, so that the assembly looks like a tiny snowball, the result is called a grapple. Now, and he's got a website, by the way. I put the link on Art Bell's website to show all the different types of snowflakes, so you guys can edumacate yourself on it. But these are really big.
I have never in my life until today have seen a snowflake or snow. I've always wondered where the word snowflake came from. Obviously there was a reason why people started calling these things snowflakes. Well, there you go. Here they are.
Right.
That's
but
absolutely
these were
crazy.
Quite large and very visible, where people were just like walking down the sidewalk and just, is that a shooting star? They were just star-shaped. I've seen snowflakes up close where you can see the intricate little details, but these are giant clumps of stars.
Right. This is
and there's another picture there too.
All right, let's get to that.
Over to the next one.
Get to that picture right now.
So there were other people that were reporting these strange things. People who have lived in these areas don't generally go, "Whoa, that's a weird-looking snowflake." No. People on social media, Twitter and whatnot, were posting these weird shapes. What the heck? It's pretty cool, but quite bizarre. I've never seen it before, so I thought it'd be cool to bring it to your attention.
Very cool.
Because,
that is very cool. I'm blown away right now. This is really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So colliding water droplets, I don't know, whatever. Okay, so next topic. I wanted to get in a little bit on these lovely February 3rd of this year UFOs that was spotted over the Estrella Mountains, I want to say Estrella Mountains in Goodyear, Arizona. This blew my mind because I'm like, I can't believe I didn't hear about this sooner. Wow, this looks like what the Phoenix Lights from 1997. It's just really, truly, truly bizarre that this didn't hit the airwaves. Did you guys hear about these?
I only heard about it or saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, in passing. And it's like, it was such a big deal when it hit the news, and spread around like wildfire. But, I remember when it happened, and it was on the news, and I was like, what, did it happen again? Because I'd heard about it like 6 months earlier or something. I'm like, oh, the media finally decided to showcase it. You know, they were kind of ignoring those of us who are in the know of these odd things. But this one, I was just really shocked that it kind of bypassed me. But
right.
I wanted to say that 5 different people reported seeing these strange string of lights
Okay.
To the National UFO Reporting Center. And they all described seeing something very similar to the Phoenix Lights. And people say they saw these string of lights in Buckeye and Goodyear, Arizona, describing 5 to 8 lights in a row that remained for at least 5 minutes or so. Now, this one witness said, I saw this UFO while driving. It was moving south over the Estrella Mountains. The lights were of fiery color, which is not visible in the video, which is a shape of the craft. He described it as being round and very massive. After it disappeared, he says he continued to drive in the direction it was headed, eventually driving beyond and behind the mountain, but saw nothing. There's also a link to the video that is just amazing, just absolutely amazing. But it's cool that these people got to notice the mere shape of this thing. Like, I don't know, the Phoenix Lights, if memory serves me correctly, people were describing it as being, like a triangular in pattern, but then
Right.
it seemed to be in a row as well, though, correct? I mean, is that what you guys are talking?
Well, you know, on the Phoenix Lights, now James Fox did a thing on the Phoenix Lights, right? I believe that there was two sightings, not two sightings. There was the main sighting,
A fake one.
the fake one,
and a real
and a
one.
real one.
Yeah.
And I believe the lights over the
flares?
mountain. Yeah. Well, I know what I don't know if they were flares, but I believe that was the fake, and the real one, where people actually witnessed it fly over them. I don't know if it was an out of the blue or I know what I saw. If
Right.
go and see that. James Fox does an excellent story on the Phoenix Lights. But I on the video here, Heidi, is there mountains back in that way? What is that? In that direction?
Yeah, they're saying that's the Estrella Mountains,
Okay.
and that these lights were on one side of the mountains and essentially went over
Oh.
the mountains
Wow.
and went into the distance where the people could not follow or see them any longer. So, but if you watch the video, it seemed to be pretty much, cruising at a pretty steady pace, where they were driving along and pretty much able to keep pace with it while filming. But when it went up and over the mountain, I mean, they just fully lost sight of it. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty incredible. I mean, to see something like that. And I always love the dialogue of people that are videotaping these things. It's just like, whoa, what is this?
Okay, so the link to this video is on Art Bell's website right now, right?
Yes, it
Okay,
is. Yeah,
okay.
it's definitely something that people need to see. It's pretty incredible. And, the awe factor of the people, it's just priceless. I love it.
Wow, that's very cool. Awesome. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I'm
very
glad you brought this up because I did see, what I'm looking at right now on Facebook, but I didn't know the whole story, and so that's awesome.
Yeah, I missed that on Facebook, darn it all. But yeah, I thought that was a really cool one. Now, this other one is pretty darn interesting. This is a UFO sighting once again over Arizona. Arizona is hopping February 26th of this year, and no statements really given by the witness that videotaped this, except to say that, and there's a video for it as well, but I gave you a still image of it. But it's described as being a black UFO saucer-shaped. And I'm like, whoa, it really is, it doesn't look very reflective. You can see lights on it, and it seems to be, kind of, how can I say, pulsing, almost in its movement.
Okay.
And just really, a strange-looking craft. And it looks saucer-shaped for sure, but black.
I've always wondered that, let's just say these are not from here, Earth, okay? Why would aliens who are far way more intelligent than us put lights on the outer part of their UFOs? Is it so another UFO won't hit them?
I have wondered the same
You know,
thing.
and that's what kind of gets me sometimes. Like, okay, if they're trying to keep away from people and hide, why not be completely dark?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
what's
well,
the purpose of these
perhaps
lights?
the government got a hold of their alien contacts and said you have to follow the FAA protocol. I don't know. Because it doesn't make any sense. It's
No.
like, even like this large string of lights on this saucer-shaped one from February 3rd in Arizona. No one would have spotted it. It looks like it's like kind of out in the desert. It's completely black out there. If they didn't have their freaking, headlights on,
Right.
no one would have said, whoa, look at that.
Right.
I wonder if it's an act of defiance, just like when you tell your kid to turn the light off at night, and before they go to bed so the bill doesn't go up, and the kid flicks the freaking light on.
Right.
What I think this is their way of waving hello and saying, look, we're here. We're trying to stay in touch and in line with our treaty with your government, but we're just going to flick our headlights at you guys so you know that we're waving hello.
Wow.
I mean, why
Yeah.
else? Why
Yeah,
else?
I don't know. I have no idea. At one point, I thought to myself, well, maybe it's their propulsion system. Maybe their engines require lights to be on. I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. That without these lights, then they can't be in the air. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're not lights. Maybe they are, the engines of propulsion, and we think it's lights, but they're not lights. I don't know. I just like you said, it doesn't make sense. Lights. Why would they turn on the lights for people to look at hey, look at me, I'm from Mars.
Yeah, maybe they like a little bit of attention while they dance
I
on
guess
the
so.
stage,
Right. So,
Who knows?
okay.
Now, this next one, this is really cool. I think this is awesome. Okay, there is NASA has actually come clean about something.
Really?
So there's a bright spot seen on a dwarf planet via their Dawn spacecraft on a planet called Ceres, CERES. The latest images captured by NASA's Dawn spacecraft of the dwarf planet Ceres continues to baffle scientists as the photos reveal what they are saying is another significant bright spot on its surface. I guess, there was a prior image that was released and there was a bright spot that they couldn't explain. And this time it's showing too. So this planet called Ceres lies between Mars and Jupiter, has an average diameter of 590 miles or so, and it's the largest body in the main asteroid belt and is believed to contain a whole lot of ice. Apparently, like these earlier photos, like I said, had a bright spot on it, but now this bright spot on Ceres, they're saying, has a companion, like NASA literally saying a less brightness of a companion, lesser brightness. But apparently it's in the same basin. Chris Russell, who's a principal investigator for the Dawn mission, said in the news release from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, he says, this may be pointing to a volcano-like origin of the spots, but we will have to wait for better resolution before we can make such geologic interpretations.
Okay.
Russell has said, so the scientists are hoping for a better view, literally March 6th, in hopes of getting a sharper image of what the heck they're looking at.
So NASA is not denying that this is fake. I mean, this is real. I mean, NASA's.
This is real.
Okay. NASA, never a straight answer. People is saying no. Well, these are actually bright. I'm not saying they're lights, but could be a reflective of some type. Like you said, a volcano. Okay.
Yeah, volcano. It's like a volcano. I don't know. It's
Okay.
pretty bizarre. I mean, it looks pretty reflective. I wonder if like a UFO needed to park and refuel or something. I don't know.
Well,
It would have to be that would have to be huge right there.
Right.
A
mothership.
I mean, really huge. Like that could be like 20 or 30 or 40 miles across. That little light.
Right.
in order for it to be seen, by the telescope.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. I also put the LinkedIn video for this story on our Bill's site. It's hey, we have to wait only 5 more days. March 6th is when they're saying this Dawn craft is going to be reorbiting around the area and get clearer photos. Now, if it shows anything of significance,
now you know Heidi as well as I do, is that if this turns out to be the frickin' mothership of all motherships, NASA is not going to show it.
No, the NASA
they might show it, but they'll deny it.
Extremely busy that day, re-editing the photographs.
They'll say it's a volcano.
It's
Don't
a volcano.
worry.
No, they'll put I don't know. They'll find something and Photoshop it in there. But no, I mean, granted, it's a blurry photograph right now, and I can tell you if NASA does get a clear picture, I guarantee you they're going to substitute it with something else.
Oh yeah, I mean, the artists have come forward to say, I had to help doctor those photos of the moon. You know, it's like, come on, where do they think they're fooling? I mean, it's just so easy now to white out stuff or change it. That's just ridiculous. I mean, I wonder what made them come forward to admit. Were people paying attention to their feed or something? I don't know.
No, and that's exactly right. People now are in front of the NASA's, especially like, for example, the International Space Station's video cameras, live feed, and they are, every day people are monitoring their streaming and recording, because there's a lot of times where something will pop into frame and NASA will go, oh, and then go black. And then, but, the people out here who monitor this stuff will actually get it and then put it out on social media. Like right here, somebody got this by accident, and NASA can't deny it and has to come out and say, well, at this point in time, we have no idea what it is. Let's wait for the next round trip. But
you know what my favorite is how they say that a lot of the stuff is national security, so they don't share with us. Now, I highly doubt that this freaking little dwarf planet has something to do with our national security. What's going on out there? Something's reflective. Show it to us. It's our tax dollars paying for this.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I mean, come on. Are they actually going to say, breaking news, this is a large ship and the reflection was from the sun or whatever, and it is a metallic object? Now, what would happen if NASA came out and said this is a metallic object on series? People would freak. I mean, come on. I mean, that a metallic object, that's telling me it's a freaking... That's a UFO. It's a flying saucer. I mean, they're going to say, well, it's one of ours. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Okay? They can't say that.
Gosh.
It's a reflection off the
snow. I hope
snow.
that we're calming some fears out there, in regard to these topics, where people are not totally, going to lose their minds in the event that is sure to come one day.
Yep.
That these things reveal themselves.
Yep.
I mean, they are. They're testing us. They're, a little bit at a time, flashing their headlights at us. Hey, you okay? Look at me. I'm over here.
Right. No, it's
happening already.
Yeah, it's all about conditioning, you guys, and they're conditioning us for the day to come, probably pretty soon.
Well, I think they're going to be like that show on that I posted, the Twilight Zone. To serve man.
Right.
And they left a book, and they were trying to decipher the book, and then they're all taking trips to their planet and everything, but not coming back.
Right.
And and finally they they figured out what the book said, and it was a recipe book.
Yep.
How to serve man.
On a
dish. Platter. Yeah.
On a platter. Yeah. Like, they're not placing the orders. It's the other way around.
Well,
right. And I mean, the people are so trusting nowadays, and they can say whatever they want, and these people are eating it up, and they don't even know who they're talking to, really. It's like, I'm a little more careful.
Yeah.
And worried, I'm kind of plumpy,
and you can't walk fast, so
No,
you're the first guy they're going to snag.
I worried about that in Africa. They would come up and they would start touching me. I was thinking, oh my God. Then they would invite me to dinner. It's like, no, thank you. I
could see you on a
yeah.
Well, that's why. Actually, to be honest, that's why I take them Bigfooting.
Right.
Oh, is that it? Somebody's got to be sacrificed,
that's it.
right?
That's the only reason I take him Bigfooting.
Yeah.
Because I can run faster than him.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
That sucks,
That's
doesn't it?
awful of you.
I know.
I'm
I know.
good
I'm
with
bad.
a cane, so that Bigfoot better watch out.
No, you guys, I'm just kidding. All right, for all those people think I'm serious about this, no. But trust me, I would run faster than Alan. I tell you.
He's passing out menus right now, Alan. How to serve Alan?
Well, you know what they tell me. They're like, everything's cool. We'll stay right with you, but be prepared to be face planted.
I think one of us already has already been told which one's going to take the cane from you.
Yeah.
I know it sucks, doesn't it? Oh my
You're
God!
gonna steal my cane and leave me.
Hey, I've got a couple of emails here too. That
Go for it.
people sharing their odd stories and asking some questions for the little odd.
Hey,
advice.
before you do that, did you get a hold of that person yet on the Ouija board?
No, I did not. I got called in. I have been really quite busy on these weekends. A lot of patients coming in from hospitals, so I've been called in and called in and called in. So I have not had the chance, but I will definitely do that. Hopefully tomorrow evening.
Okay, and just so everybody knows, I get calls on my 24-hour hotline, and I got a call, another one, a couple days ago, where these people are having some experiences in their homes, and I finally got him to say, yes, I messed with the Ouija board a while back, and then that's when I say, oops, sorry, I can't help you here. Let me give you Heidi. So let Heidi take care of it. So I gave Heidi the number, and Heidi is trying to get a hold of him, and as soon as she does, we'll let you know what happens.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting with him. I hope to be of help. It's like no miracle worker here, not a psychic, none of that, but just, I have faced some really horrific stuff over the years, and I'm happy to say I've been pretty darn successful, so I'm hoping to be of help to these people. So
Cool.
Fingers crossed. I will definitely let you guys know.
Right on.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be
So-
interesting.
What's that?
Well, it'll be interesting to hear.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So
The thing is, are they
my
going to
goodness.
listen to you? That's the problem I have is they have their own idea.
Well,
and
no.
a lot of times their idea
Actually,
gets them in trouble.
these people so far who has called me are on their last straw.
Oh,
They have
okay.
no clue now what to do, and they're calling people on the internet, and they're getting voicemails and answer machines and stuff. And then when they get to me and I answer, "Hello, Jeffrey was saying a paranormal," and they go, "This is a live person." And I mean, every single time I get that, like they're blown away, and then I start talking to them, and then that's and then we get the story. But yeah, so okay.
Yeah.
Well, let us know what happens on that one, all right?
I will definitely.
Okay.
No, honestly, I think that is the biggest thrill that I get out of everything that I do, writing the books, doing the shows, doing lectures, is knowing that I'm helping other people.
Right.
In some sense. Even if just a little bit. I'm not a guru or know-it-all, but, all you could do is pour your heart out and hope that it hits somebody in the right spot,
Right.
Yeah, so. But, okay, I got a couple of quick emails here. This one says, Dear Heidi, my wife says she had a shadow man follow her for years. Why did it not appear to me? And can it find her 850 miles away? Should I be concerned? Thanks, Joe. Oh, yeah, Joe, it can find you. I'm not trying to scare him. But, it's like Hatman doesn't drive a car. He's not like Men in Black. He is just one of those rotten, low-down, good-for-nothings that, could track anybody anywhere. It doesn't seem to matter. And across the globe, even. So, honestly, I had somebody that wrote me about a year ago that had gone from here, and I want to say to Korea, and they were looking for somebody to help clean them of this Hatman following them. And went to Korea, he showed up over there. So it really doesn't matter. Why he did not show up to you? Maybe he doesn't like the looks of you. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Perhaps there's something in her. He's already dug his nails in and gotten a taste of her, and she's feeding him diligently, some of her fear. So I think perhaps that's the reason you have not been met up with this guy. And, I'm suspicious, too, that, oftentimes Hatman starts to follow people when they're a kid.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he got to know her, knew her weaknesses then, and so it makes it easier for him to, follow her and taunt her. So he doesn't necessarily show up to more than one person at a time very often, because, if you got backup, you might be able to kick him out just a little bit easier, and he doesn't want that. So
Yeah,
there you
I
have
mean,
it.
she might be his weak spot, and
Oh, yeah.
he's already, he doesn't need to show himself. He's already tearing the family up, just through her.
Is it beating her down for
Yeah.
sure, and make it seem like she's a little loony perhaps. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that he is. He's not saying that. He's not saying I don't believe her. So that's cool. I like to hear that.
That's good.
Right on.
Yeah, definitely. So, thanks, Joe, for that quick question. I've got another quickie here. It says, "Dear Heidi, my name is Lacey. I'm from Moore, Oklahoma. I came across your website while doing some research in regards to the Hat Man." Oh boy, it's him again. I too have experienced him. It started when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and then several times as a young adult. Now, see that? Just what we're talking about, how he likes to see the little kitties first. It says, "I'm so curious about it. I always question, one, if I was crazy, which clearly I'm not, since millions of people across the world have seen the exact same thing that I have. So what is it and why? Is it from another dimension? And I wonder what causes it to show itself to only certain people. I've had a lot of things happen to me that you could consider paranormal. I'm a Pisces. Isn't that what we're all about? LOL. Just thought I would share and tell you I enjoy your page. I love your show. And I can't wait to read your book, The Hat Man." Very cool name. Okay, that was Lucy. Or Lacey. Okay. That's, how can I say, curiosity killed the cat. It's like sometimes people want to, put something into a definition and pin it somehow and be like, "I know what you are. You're this A, B, and C, and this is how I'm going to deal with you." It's like, sometimes it doesn't take all that. I mean, just know he's evil. He sucks, and you don't want him around. And just deal with him. What is he? He's just pure evil. Why is he coming? Well, he found an interest in you. Perhaps your light is too bright, or perhaps you've delved into things that you shouldn't have, but you're 5 years old. What did you do? Steal a cookie from the cookie jar? No. So I'm assuming that he's really trying to stamp out your light, because kids are probably the most positive little creatures on the freaking planet. I mean, that and puppies. So I'm thinking that he saw your potential, and he did not like what he saw, and he's trying to crowd you. So don't let it happen. If he's from another dimension, well, I've never seen his house here, so perhaps he is from another dimension. He doesn't drive a car. I don't know if he flies an invisible jet like Wonder Woman. I haven't seen it. So I'm assuming that he gets around through another means that we are not used to. So, yeah, he probably is from another dimension. But does it matter? All it matters is toss a knot on his ear, throw some Jesus juice on him, which means your heart and soul and his name, and be done with them. So I hope that you do enjoy the book, The Hat Man, if you do get a chance to check it out. And I hope that this was helpful. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that sometimes they follow families, and there's a parent or a grandparent or a great grandparent opened up a door, and then they kind of glommed onto the family, and they find a weakness that's past, a learned weakness, the mom is afraid of everything, okay, and the child learns that to be afraid of everything, so she starts out with a fear right away, and then they sense that or see it, happening, because they're right there all the time watching, and then they're like, "Oh boy, here we go. We'll get this one afraid right now."
I think like there's somebody in the family.
Yep.
I personally think that somebody, again, the Ouija board thing comes to mind. I believe also they are. Let's just say that drugs come into mind as well.
Or alcohol.
And when you get into that stuff, then it opens up for something to come walking right in, I think.
Well, one that, and a lot of people don't like to talk about it, is abuse, like sexual abuse.
Okay.
And it was really prevalent back. I mean, this is a prevalent thing going way back. You know what I mean? Like, there's some sickos.
Right.
And these things, they thrive off of that sicko stuff. They love it. That makes them strong against you, is the sicko thing.
Right.
You know, they really like it. And so, I mean, the more sicko family you got, probably the more problem you're going to have with those things.
Isn't it terrible? Sins of the father go on you. I mean, I just hate the thought of that type of thing occurring. But, you know, when negativity is lingering, I think it is more likely to, you know, slap its hand on your shoulder, you know, and say, well, what do we have here?
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's just, it's a horrible situation to be in, and it's always kids. It's always kids. It just breaks my heart. And then it's like they're taunted, you know, later on. Mm-hmm. And it's like, my goodness, you know, this thing is relentless. He will pursue and pursue and pursue. It's like, how do you stop it? You know, it's like I am always like optimistic that to the point, to your last breath, your last dying breath, that you can make a difference in how your soul will be perceived and received by the one God that I know and love. You know, it's like I'm just like, you know, I know there's a lot of horrible things that people can be involved in. I've even been in touch with people whose parents were, you know, satanic worshipers.
I wanted to say that.
They've had terrible things happen to them, but they've been able to shake that stuff loose, you know? So I'm optimistic.
Really?
Yep.
I would think that you're done.
No.
Wow.
No, man,
Yeah,
I know some too. I know some too, and what you have to understand is they're subservient. Everything in the universe bows to that one name.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what you did, no matter where you've been, no matter what your dad did, no matter where you are in life and whatever you did, when you give yourself over to that, then they have to bow to that name, just like you will have to. Everyone will sooner or later.
And the name you're talking about is
Jesus' name.
Oh, yeah.
And that name right there, and you know what's really funny is you could go on YouTube and type in people that's been alien abducted, people that channel demons and stuff like that, and then they finally find the truth. Okay, they finally find the truth.
Yeah.
Those people can stop abductions. They can stop demon possessions. They can stop all that stuff with one name. And
Indeed.
sometimes somebody will be channeling a demon, or what they call themselves even an alien. I'm an alien, you know, and they'll give themselves a name, and really they're a fallen angel or a Nephilim or whatever you call it. And they're talking through this person, and the person will ask them, what about Jesus? And they'll slip. There's 2 or 3 videos, and they'll slip, and they won't even say Jesus. They can't say that name. They call him Emmanuel. And I've seen like 5 videos where the demons actually come out with the name Emmanuel, and you admit, you know, that he created everything, even them. And then when they realize what they did, they backtrack and then start talking about, you know, Star, Sirius, or whatever. You know, all this stuff that it's not real. It's fake.
Right.
And that's why, you know, that's why I trip out. I see these people going on this alien kick lately that, you know, they're saying that they're coming to save us and save us from ourselves, you know, that we're polluting the earth and Mother Earth is, you know, under attack from us and all this stuff.
Now, Heidi, a little while ago, you were saying, I mean, the way you were describing, you know, your UFO reports, do you think that aliens are from other worlds? Because, you know, Alan thinks the total opposite.
I believe that these beings did not originate from here. I think that they've made this place their home now. I think that they live underneath the surface. That's for sure, currently. So I don't think they're traveling from here back home. I think they're moving in, and they're trying to make us servants of them. And I think those that get abducted, sadly, that they are being trained and tricked to help them in their mission. I've known some of the people that have been abducted by alien beings to find themselves helping to calm the next abductee. Like, it's okay. Just let them go ahead and do what they want to do to you. It's okay. You are chosen. You are special.
Right.
And it's a horrible, horrible scenario. And I'm like, oh, that's why you're their pet. Okay, I got it now. You know, but those people, you know, I was around when people were terrified and terrorized by their alien abduction experiences.
Yeah.
And then to watch them change, you know, to, I'm chosen, I'm special. I'm like, what? I saw you crying last month at the meeting, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're taking my kids, they're raping me, they're, you know, to I'm special, and because they're letting me help comfort other abductees, and they're teaching me so much stuff. And I'm like, hold on, there are school teachers who are raping their students, okay? That's not okay. And we know this as a society. Why is it okay for a non-human being to do the same thing? Since when is abduction, rape, or abuse okay? You know, and this is what really angers me, that our government is allowing it to happen. They know it's going on.
I think
abuse,
they're afraid of them.
Rape, and abduction.
I think they're afraid.
It's an atrocity, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
When you if you go back and research this is what's really interesting. Okay, you go back, way back, and you don't, and it could be, some of it's in the Bible, some of it's in the book of Jasher, some of it's in the book of Enoch, some of it's in the Egyptian stuff, but they all talk about the same thing. They said these gods, okay, they brought technology, and it'll say what they taught, okay. You know, they taught this, they taught makeup, jewelry that wore, all this stuff, and they brought it in to control. They actually were put here, and they can't leave here. They have to stay here. And some of them were so bad that they chained them under the ground, and they're under there right now, chained down. They're that bad. They're down there, and their whole thing is to fight over us.
Oh yeah.
That's the whole thing is to be fighting over us. We're real special. The human race is special.
Very much so. It's why I call my book The Secret War, because there are good and bad beings that are literally fighting over us, fighting over our very souls. I've got a story for you guys that was told to me not too long ago. This is really crazy. That the Hat Man brought a creature of a sort that was very pale white, really nasty, disgusting looking thing, and it was bound. It had straps around its legs, its body, its arms. And the Hat Man said to the guy, free him. You can do it. Come on, just try. He couldn't do it. What the heck? What is that? I think that even the Hat Man, I mean, I know it's related to the alien phenomenon. Evil is evil.
Yeah.
And people have seen, I have it in my book, the Hat Man book, have seen aliens, kind of in conjunction with the Hat Man phenomenon. And it's like, you know, they see, like you're saying, the human potential is unbelievable.
Right.
And if they could take us down, they would have by now. But they need something from us. And they're trying to get us to do it without us knowing exactly what we're doing. We think we're dreaming. We think that we're crazy. And we're like, is this really happening? Well, I can't tell anybody about it. And these things are getting the upper hand, and it's continuing. And it breaks my heart every day that I get an email that's just, you know, they're winning the war. There goes another soldier down. Each person that's being taken down and laughed at is another soldier that's being lost to this war that nobody is even acknowledging that it's going on. It's disgusting and sad, and I think that people need to start trusting their neighbor that they're not lying.
So do you think what I just heard from you is you think that there are good aliens and bad aliens.
Oh yes, I
entities.
have.
Entities.
Yeah, they're not really.
Oh yeah,
aliens.
I've been in the company of some. I guess you could say
Okay,
that
okay.
regard God for who
So-
He is and Jesus too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so entities, you are saying that, okay, bad entities, demons, whatever. Now, what are these good entities? Why? What do you consider those? Angels?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't consider them as anything but something more positive. I think perhaps in the past that people might have confused some of them for being angels. I don't know. For myself, I knew that they did not look human, and I knew they had no problem saying the name Jesus and told me that I need to pray more. So I was like, okay, what? What is going on here? So yeah, I think that,
So more like messengers from God, then, trying to help us out.
That's
I
what
think
that's
that
what the
there are
name
beings
angel
that
even
see
means.
we're being infiltrated.
Okay.
But they're following the golden rule of non-interference, though these other ones are just interfering left and right. But they're trying to drop seeds to let us try to fight our own war, but they're not going to let this planet go down. This is God's world. This isn't going to happen. Yeah, they're making a lot of ground on us, these negative beings, but it's being monitored. And I'm sorry, but it's like, again, these things have to hide in the dark for a reason.
Right.
Because they really need the cover. But we can walk in the sunlight and we can take these things down, and we've got God on our side, the positive forces on our side. And I think it's a battle. They've talked about in the Bible it's going to be in the heavens here and there, and all at once, like we're going to see it all at once. But it's going on individually. I mean, we got these little sneaky agents coming up to us when we're most vulnerable. I mean, that's what a low down, rotten, dirty thing to do. It's about time that we start recognizing it and encourage each other to open our eyes and also be able to close our eyes and feel what's in front of us, because these negative ones know how to shapeshift to look like anything you want.
Yep.
But you've got to trust your gut, your God-given gut, to know what's standing in front of you without looking and analyzing and trying to define it.
Yeah, I think they're more not alien so much as they're interdimensional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't been to those other dimensions, so I don't know. But
we can't see them. All these texts that I was listing earlier that go back thousands of years, all of it relate, and all of them talk about that we can't see it. We only can see in a certain
Realm.
light.
Right.
Like we have cameras that can see beyond that will enable us to see a little bit more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
In fact, they're using it like ghost hunting, so that they could see into this other dimension. But there's more than that, even.
Yeah. And matter of fact, I was talking to Adolf from 101102, and he was telling me that he's watching TV, and at the corner of his eye he sees something walking. And that's where a lot of people visually see, what they think are demons or whatever. It's just at the edge of, the dimension that we can, what I'm saying, see. And as I think they're walking among us right now, around us. They're probably in the studio right now. Yeah. They're in our house. They're walking around.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
I believe that. I believe there's a lot of different layers to our existence. That's for sure. I've seen things literally poke their head in and poke their head back out like they're looking around a corner, and I'm like, what? Did I just see that? I'm like, like there's holes all over the place. But I also think that these things are indeed among us, and they're quite aware of us being there, and some of them aren't. I don't know, but I see what you're saying for sure.
Yeah.
So
it's
a fascinating world we live in.
I've been on like probably a 20-year study of these things, and at the same time was lucky enough to travel around the world. Go into the Africa and see the voodoo, and way into the Africa where people don't wear clothes, and they were actually cannibals. Even though they admitted that they said they didn't eat people anymore. They still had their teeth filed like shark teeth, and even drilled holes in, like designs and stuff. And their instead of tattoos, they had scars, and I mean really elaborate scar tissue design all over them. And demons were like an everyday thing over there. And in fact, when you go over there and then you the people find God, like the good power,
Mm-hmm.
you see people get raised from the dead. You won't see it here, but you'll see it over there. Somebody will die, and then somebody of faith will come along and raise that person right straight up from the dead.
Faith, meaning good faith
in Jesus.
How can
and
what?
use the name of Jesus to call the life back into the body. And
How can that happen from an ordinary person doing that?
It's not them. It's not them.
Okay.
You have no power.
Right.
Yeah, I feel.
Okay. That is the evil tricking everybody who are witnessing this event.
No, I mean the guy really died.
Right.
Okay.
But
the
what's coming up?
The person that went over there and called the life back in,
It's evil.
no, it's actually it's good. It's actually he's using his authority that Jesus gave us,
Okay.
and he's using it correctly, and it works because he has faith that it works. See, now in America we don't have faith. In fact, they're attacking it. You know what? I could go out right now, and I could be a Muslim. In fact, if you say something against a Muslim, you're about to get arrested, right?
Right.
If you go over there and say you're a Christian, they'll cut your head off. But if you go over here, they're attacking the people that say they're a Christian.
Right.
I mean, they're absolutely trying to get rid of it.
Right.
Why? They're not getting rid of all the cults. You could be anything you want, and nobody will say a word.
Right.
But you say that one name and say that you believe in it,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden you come under attack, and now you're insulting them.
I remember as a kid that was going to eventually happen. That all the Christians were going to come under attack, and they were going to get killed if you say, "Do you believe in Jesus?" If not, if you believe in Jesus, your head is cut off. Boom, you're gone.
It says that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's already happening.
Yeah, it is.
It's happening to this day, you guys.
In fact, a lot of the Christian preacher guys, they used to say it was the and I never thought it was because it didn't line up, for what. But only they would say the EU, the European Union, was going to be the Roman Church coming up, and be the 10 toes or in the 10 horns or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that wasn't it. It really, now they're all backpedaling. They wrote all these books and sold all these books. Really, it wasn't that. It's really the Muslims. And then now, if you could go on YouTube and you could research this. You don't have to take my word for it. Type in Muslims dreaming and getting visions of Jesus. And there's hundreds of them. And they live in a country where you get your head cut off if you believe in Jesus. And then they wind up having a dream or a vision of Jesus, or he comes to them in their dream.
And they change over.
They change over, and then they have to leave or die.
Right.
And they lose their family and everything. I mean, they can't see their family, their kids, their wife, nothing. They're gone. They're excommunicated completely.
That is some serious faith going on there.
Yeah, but I mean, there's story after story after story. In one video, there was like 200 people in this room worshiping Jesus, and the guy was a Muslim, but he just found Jesus, and one of the people took him there, right? Mm-hmm. In that country over there where you get your head cut off, and they're in a secret meeting in a cave, like hidden. And then he was sitting there, and the way he found Jesus was Jesus came in his room and appeared.
The sightings of him are going up exponentially.
Yeah.
I love it.
So then he started asking the people there, how did you hear about him? Because they don't have Bibles, and they don't have Bible study, and they don't have Christians, and they are not taught that. Okay,
Right.
they don't.
Oh no. Yeah.
They don't know.
There's
the
no
only
Cath-
thing they
there's no
know
Catholic-
is maybe this guy was a great teacher.
I was going to say, there's
once,
no
you know.
Catholic churches or any Christian churches
No,
over there. There isn't.
Then he found out every single one of the people that was there, Jesus came to him the same way that it came to him. So there's nobody like us, nobody over from our country that is spreading the gospel or whatever over
Right,
there because they
right.
get their head cut off.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
From
Jesus
what I
is doing it
understand,
himself. He's going in
Muslims
there
are
and
taught
doing
that-
it himself. And there's
Yeah.
power there. I mean, I've seen people grow arms and limbs back. Not in America. Well, a couple times in America, but when you go into other countries, this is like a common place. I'm waiting for it to spread to here.
Nice.
I can't wait to see it.
I'm going to
People
pray that you
being
get a new
raised from the
leg then, Alan.
dead, legs growing out. I mean, even my own self, like when I first found out about Jesus and he helped me, I didn't drink anymore, I didn't take drugs anymore, I didn't get arrested anymore. Okay. I mean, I was getting arrested by weekly, you know. And I can't even remember every day because I took so many drugs and alcohol and they said I would not pass out. Only I was blacked out. I would go and do all these crazy things, and then the next morning everybody would be telling me what I did, and I'm like, no way. I do not recall any of it, right? Well, I couldn't change. But when I found this Jesus, he changed me, okay? I broke my ankle. I was doing work for him. He gave me $500,000 of video equipment and to only do Christian TV stuff. So I was. But then I broke my ankle out running around in the mountains, way off in the mountains. I crawled to my car, drove myself down to the hospital, you know. I went in, my leg was broken, my ankle. They put a cast on it. By 5:30 in the morning, I was on my way home with a cast. Then I went to one of, you know, I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know nothing, right? I mean, I'm barely a week into knowing anything about God, was not raised in church, don't know anything, right? I'm absolutely don't know nothing. And one of the guys that I met, he says, oh, you know, Jesus could heal that. I'm really, you know, yeah. He goes, do you believe he could? I'm like, yeah. I don't know, what do I know? Yeah, I'll agree with you. So, you know, he prays, and then he tells me, cut my cast off. You got to cut it off and then take off walking to prove, you know, that you have faith. I'm like, okay, you know, so I did, you know, I did. I cut the cast off.
How long after when the cast was put on did you cut it off?
The very next day.
Oh shit!
Like 10:30 in the morning. I mean, 5:30 in the morning I had to put it on. 10:30 in the morning I had to take it off. Now this is paranormal, okay? What I'm about to tell you is paranormal. So then I went home, and when my wife seen me, she's like, she chewed my butt. Like, what in the world are you, you know? And it was all swollen and black and blue, and it hurt. And then, like, oh man, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, I'm laying in bed, and my leg is killing me, and I'm like, oh man, you know, my wife's like, just go back to the hospital, you know, you idiot. You've been walking on it all day. What the heck is wrong with you, you know? So when I get back to the emergency room, guess who's there?
Same doctor?
Oh, yeah. Same doctors, same nurses. And they're looking at me like, and then they ask me, and I'm honest, you know, I tell them, you know, what I did, and they just start laughing at me. And then the doctor says, this is really going to hurt, you know, because I'm going to have to probably really go in there and really, you know, like.
Said it.
Yeah. He goes, you're dumb, you know.
Dumbass.
Yeah. We got to go take x-rays and see what kind of damage you did. And, you know, I'm like, oh, man. You know, I'm feeling pretty stupid at that point. And do the x-rays, and then I'm sitting in the room where the casting material is and everything. And he comes in, he goes, hey, can you jump down and walk across the room for me? You know, and I'm looking at him like, what? He just told me that I was an idiot for walking on it before he took, you know, before this. I'm like, all right, you know. So I get down and I limp across the room, and then, you know, I sit back down, he says, did it hurt? You know, I looked at him. Yeah, it hurt. You know, like, what? That was a stupid question. You know, look at it. It's all black and blue and swollen. You say it hurt. He's like, oh, all right. He goes, I'll be right back. And then he comes in with another doctor. He's like, hey, can you jump off the table and walk across the room and walk back? You know, I'm like, you know, are you serious, dude? You're like, serious? He's like, yeah. Like, all right. You know, and I walk across and I come back, you know, and before I could even sit down, he says, did it hurt? I'm like, yeah. You know, like, you guys are crazy. Like, when do I get a cast? He goes, can you walk out here with me? You know, I'm looking at him like, what? You know, I'm ready for a cast. What are you talking about? You know, I already know I was an idiot, you know. And we go around the corner. I follow him. And they have those big lit things with the x-rays on it.
Right.
And he's like, see that x-ray right there? You know, I'm like, yeah. He goes, you see where the break is? And it's like, yeah. You know, it's like totally broke like that. Right? Like, broken. I'm like, yeah, I see it. You know, and he goes, that's broke. You know, I'm like, yeah. He goes, come here. You know, and we step over to this other one. He goes, okay, look at that one. You know, and he goes, can you find the break? I was like, no. I'm like, what? I go, is that mine? He goes, that's the one you just took. He goes, I can't explain it. You know, I'm like, what? I go, it's not broken. He goes, there is no break. He goes, come on, let's go. He goes, we go sit in the room, and he says, so what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I came for a cast, right? I came to get a cast. I go, do I need a cast? He goes, no. You know, what do you want to do? I go, I guess I'm, you know, like, what about the swelling and everything? He goes, well, the tissue damage and everything's still there from the break, but the bone is healed. He goes, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you could have a cast if you want. I'll put one on. And I'm like, that's all right. You know, I was totally confused. Then I go, what about the crutches? He goes, the insurance bought them. They're yours. You know, you could have them. And it still hurts. So then I you know, I'm like crutching my way out of the hospital with no cast. And I'm like, I parked way out there because I couldn't get a parking place. And I get outside the door, you know, and I'm crutching along. And then it dawns on me that my leg isn't broke, right? The bone is not broken anymore. In 24 hours, my bone is all healed up. And it hurt a little bit, you know, it hurt. And then I thought, you know what, if I trust him all the way, then he could take that pain too, right? So I threw the crutches on my shoulder and I started walking. By the time I got to my car, my leg stayed black and blue for like 2 weeks, but I didn't have no more pain, no more broken bone, and I was able to continue working.
Did you tell him that you took it off in faith to prove faith?
Yeah, I told him that.
So hey, good.
You know,
I was hoping that element was just thrown in there too.
Yeah, well, you know, like a week later, where, you know, I started going to this church that guy went to. You know, the one that prayed for my leg and cut the cast off. You know, like, man, you know, I gotta go where, you know, that was like amazing, and that really got me on track to really studying.
Nice.
Okay, then
that's
we're in there, and he says, hey, you know, there's a lady in there that was my teacher, like, through elementary school. And when she was my teacher, wore glasses, but something happened and she went blind. And she'd been blind for 8 years. You know, now I'm an adult in my 20s, and I know her. You know, I've known her for a long time. And I watched her go blind. I watched, you know, the whole thing. And he comes over, this guy that prayed for me, he comes over, he says, hey, he goes, man, God told me that he would heal her eyes if she believes it. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, let's go ask her. He goes, you want to pray with me, you know, with her? You know, I'm like, yeah. You know, I don't even know how to pray, really, so, like, I'll just follow your lead. He's like, okay, just come with me and agree with me. I'm like, okay. And we go over there, and he asks her, and she's like, oh, yeah, God could heal my eyes, just like I was with the leg. You know, hey, yeah, he could heal me. He prayed for her, and then she started crying. And then she told us later that her tear ducts had dried up. and it dried her eyes out like raisins, and that's why she went blind. And she started crying, and pretty soon she pulled off she had these patch things on, on both eyes. Mm-hmm. She pulled them off and opened her eyes, and they weren't all the way formed. We watched them grow back in her head. Beautiful blue eyes. And she was like 70 years old. All the years I knew her, when she could see, she wore glasses. After that, she didn't need glasses. She had perfect 20/20 vision.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that is supernatural, you guys. Supernatural. That is paranormal. That is. I mean, that is a trip right there.
That is.
That one, now, like for people that come with me with these demons and negative and all this stuff, it's hard for me to, see it their way. You know what I mean? After I seen it the other way, and then I traveled to Africa and some other countries where I was in the voodoo, stuck in the middle of this voodoo stuff. And so I don't see it like everyone else at all. And then now I research like a mad dog, I read all the texts. I probably read the Bible 7 times from cover to cover. Because there's truth in it. There's truth in it. And I mean, that stuff works in there. And some of the stuff it says to use over these entities that I'm not sure are aliens really. I'm not sure really what they are, but all I know is that when you use the name on them, they run.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Just like
and it doesn't matter what it is and where it came from. I tell people the same.
Yeah, I mean, they hightail it, but only if you don't know what you're doing and you didn't ask Jesus to be with you or whatever, and you try to use that name, you could be in a lot of trouble. Yeah. Because really, they own you still. They own you.
If an alien is an alien, how do they recognize the name Jesus? Huh?
Yeah,
how does that work?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
I have been with Alan, you guys who are watching this and listening to us right now. I have been on 2 occasions that we went on 2 cases where the people called for help. A person in their family was they were possessed basically, and Alan and I went over to each one of those locations, and on one incident, and Alan had said this story. I'm just going to say it really quick. We walk up the driveway. The lady who's possessed comes running out of the house, bypasses me, doesn't even look at me, goes straight to Alan and starts cussing him out and say, "What are you doing here? What power do you have here? Where is your effing Bible? I don't see it. Get out of here." She goes back inside the house and does not come out until Alan leaves. And Alan looks at me, and I look at Alan, and I say, "What the F just happened?" Okay? Wow. It's because Alan somehow has the ability or to help people when it comes to this evil stuff. And we went in another situation, where this boy, teenager, 18, 17, was possessed. And the father tried everything, and the mother tried everything. I mean, it was a upper class family, guys. I mean, there was a nice house, nice cars, nice clean cut boy. The daughter was clean. It was, you saw a regular family, but the son, according to the father, was possessed. And Alan asked him, "Do you want me to help you?" And Alan and the father asked and told Alan, "Please help me do whatever. You have my permission to get rid of whatever's here." And Alan did some things, prayed, and we walked outside. And I remember it was our psychic. It was you and me, and the boy walked out. And to this day, I can see his face looking at us, walking to the car. It was so effing evil. I looked at his eyes, and he looked at us, and he smirked and smiled. and he got into his car and left. And we went home, and the father called Alan a week later.
2 weeks.
2 weeks later, and he says, Alan, it worked. And we're going, what do you mean? He goes, my house is clean. Matter of fact, we smell roses in our house. Our house smells like roses. And but the negative of all this is that the father lost his child. The boy could not come back into the house, and he moved out of the state, I think.
Right.
And he could not come back. But you know what? His father tried everything. I don't know what happened prior to all this happening. I don't know if his son was into drugs, if he was satanic worshiping, but his father let him go because he was
his
tired.
son is 18.
He was 18.
And part of this thing is, if you're consenting, you have to want it out.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
If he didn't want it out, okay, the father owned the house and
Right.
the land.
Right.
I could clean that off. And I even told him, I go, one of two things will happen, right? The son will finally say, okay, get it out of me.
Which he never
or
did.
he'll leave.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened.
He left.
The son left. Yeah.
Right.
And the dad was sad that he left, but hey, he was loving that his house
He was content. And that's
you know,
what I couldn't understand, is that his father, his son, his probably only son, he saw him go. And to this day, we don't know. He hasn't called. Obviously, he hasn't called Ellen back. To this day, his house is clean. There's no more possession.
Yeah, there was stuff flying around. They said bookshelves flying
Not
around.
while we were there. We didn't
No.
witness any of this. Okay.
No, they were telling us about
But
it.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, when we were outside on the grass underneath the tree, and when the boy came out, he walked around the backside of the car, and he looked at us. And if that wasn't an effing movie script, and he was looking at us with freaking evil in his eyes, I looked at him, and I got the chills up my spine and goosebumps, because I'm going, oh my God. And I saw he looked at just with evil. And I saw it with my own eyes, guys. I have never witnessed anything like that ever in my life. And when Alan called me 2 weeks later to say, hey, I just got a call from this father and told me what happened, I'm going, holy shit.
That isn't the first time that happened to me where they smell the flowers.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
I don't know where what it is, but
The
that's
odor
not the
of
first
sanctity,
time.
They call it.
The odor of what?
Odor of sanctity.
Okay.
Yeah, the smell of roses like that. I had experienced it once, and it was really shocking. Actually, it was just around it was around Thanksgiving. It happened to me. You guys know about my odd situation with. I literally, my head is not attached. It's just the strangest thing. It's very rare. I told you guys this.
Right.
My top two vertebrae are separate, and at times it's given me issues. And a friend of mine was like, Heidi, I want to bless you with this holy water that I was in Ireland, and I had to hike 6 hours up this mountain to go where this monastery used to stand, and there was an old well there where they say, miracles happen. And she said, I got on my hands and knees, and I got this water out of that old well, and here it is, and I want to bless you with it, to hope that your neck will never give you problems. I'm like, well, that's sweet of you. And so she does the blessing on me, and she's like, I'm very picky on who I'll bless with this. And I'm like, oh wow, that smells really good. The rose smell. That's really nice. She looked at me. She's like, what did you say? I said, I smell roses. Don't you? The roses in the water. I think it's like a rose water. She's like, Heidi, no. There's no smell. She's like, oh my goodness. She's like, that's the presence of holiness. That's the Holy Spirit. She said, when you smell that. I said, wow, it's really strong. How do you not smell it? And no one standing there. I had a few friends standing around me. They did not smell it. And I'm like, come on. You guys are messing with me. I smelled roses on me for probably an hour.
That's so cool.
So it was pretty amazing and very sweet of her to have done. So
Wow.
just Yeah, it's kind of cool. And I think Alan knows my miracle stories, but I'll have to share that with you guys sometime.
Well, I want to add something really quick. I am not special, okay? I am not.
No.
Yeah.
This Jesus person we're actually his offspring, right? That he created us or made our DNA. Every one of us has the right to do what I did. Every single one of us. It is just all you have to do is believe it. It's easy. I mean, what I trip out on is more people will believe in the aliens and the shadow people and all this other stuff, right? No problem there, man. I could go talk about it all day long, and I love talking about it, because I don't understand it really, all of it still.
Right.
But all I do know is when it gets so evil, I could stop it. But so can every single person, really. This is not, it's a free gift to everyone. I mean, it's an actual free gift to everyone. I'm not special. Anybody that does that stuff is not special. Everyone can have that. And, I mean, it took me a long time to figure that out because I was more afraid of everything. And once I found out that you didn't have to be afraid, that you actually had some kind of power over it, that you could use, not yours. It's kind of like a cop. He doesn't have any special power or anything, but he has the authority of the police badge and all the gun, And he not to mess with him, otherwise you go, he could put you away, and make your life miserable.
It's about having no doubts in where you stand and where your faith is.
Right.
And, I've talked to you guys a few times with how I feel when it comes to, I write on these horribly negative things, the Hat Man, shadow people, aliens, alien abductions. And I'm like, there needs to be a balance. I also have a book on Jesus encounters, angels, and faith. And I only get called about the negative stuff to come on the shows and talk about the negative stuff. And I'm like, no, you know what? I knew that I had to keep shedding light on these topics, to show people that you don't have to be victim to these things either. So, I mean, I have another book I'm going to be putting out soon called The Other F Word. And if you go to theotherfword.com, you'll see it there. And I have a book on it right now, all about faith is the other F word. So it's that important. It's that necessary. It needs to be put out there and pushed out there alongside of this paranormal stuff because too many people are losing themselves in it, and we're losing them to it. It's a sad thing because, like you said, people are looking at something that the likes of the devil in the eye, but they don't believe in that religious stuff. It's like, I'm not saying religion, I'm saying God and faith, people.
Right.
Because you're looking at something that you cannot fully handle on your own. You have got to know that you have a backup. And I'm with you, Alan. I'm nobody special either. It's a God-given right and gift to be able to stand our ground and
I
be able
think,
to use God's name or Jesus' name to to push these things to the side.
He puts us through these things, and we're supposed to learn it, right? And a lot of people don't. And you get put in these situations, and you either poo-poo it and say, like everybody that's within listening distance of me right now, they're getting their opportunity to go research and find out if I'm telling the truth or not. Right.
Well, I can vouch you guys.
That's where it is. I mean, I can't give it to them.
Right.
I'm not going to be the preacher guy. I'm not that guy.
Right.
But I'm not going to back down from those things either.
Oh. All right. Well, guys, we have to cut it now because we're going to be. I mean, we went long, but you know what?
You guys forever.
This is.
It was fun.
You know what, you guys? What we are talking about right now, please don't let it. If for those who are not of faith,
we don't have nothing against you.
Yeah, absolutely not. We're a paranormal show, supernatural. The stuff that we talk about here is freaking weird stuff.
Yeah.
And it's happening. So we're going to talk about it. Whether if it involves demons, aliens, religion, the Bible, we're going to talk about it because we have experience in it. All right?
Right.
Okay? So whether you believe us or not, that's up to you. But we're trying to tell you there is more going on around us than you think.
Yeah, it's almost like the Lego thing, huh? Everybody goes and gets their coffee and goes
Yeah,
to work and tunes in the football game. And you know what? Then they're like oblivious.
Yeah, Starbucks.
Right.
And we've had shows on Starbucks. I mean, oh my God, we can go there forever. But okay, Heidi,
Heidi, I get out there with you and get to work with you guys directly. I'm telling you, it's going to be a big old paranormal party constantly, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, Heidi, we're going to let you go. Thank you very much,
Cool.
and we will
Of
talk
course.
to you next week. Okay?
Sounds good.
Right
Bye,
on.
Heidi.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.
Was that deep or what?
That's deep.
That's deep.
But it's fun.
yes.
I really like sharing that stuff. And I have some more stuff that's even more deep. And I'm just afraid, I don't want to run everyone
right,
off.
and that's not what we want to do, you
Right.
guys. We are telling you.
But you could go on my Facebook and I have some of it in notes. So you could read my notes and I make it public. I'm not hiding nothing.
Right.
I mean, you could go on facebook.com/Sasquatchan and you can find my notes and read some of that stuff. And I mean, I thought about writing a book, but
One of these days, we both are going to write books because we are experiencing, you guys, monsters. We are experiencing evil. We are experiencing good. It's happening to us here. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to share it. Whether you believe us or not, that's up to you. But we are not going to lie to you for any reason at all. It is exciting, and we are loving every minute sharing you what we are encountering. All right? We're having a blast doing this. And again, I've told you before, we talk religion here because it's supernatural stuff that's happening. It is. All right?
It is.
It's the same thing as witchcraft. People think witchcraft is a religion. Okay? All that, it's all together.
But see, like with me and aliens, I mean, there might be an alien.
There might be.
I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I mean. I don't know.
Right.
There really could be. I mean, even the good guys might be aliens. As far as I know.
God. If those who believe in God, I believe God placed us here.
Yeah.
Who's not to say God placed aliens on other planets as well?
That's right.
We don't know that.
I mean, just think of how many creatures are on this earth right now, and bugs.
Oh.
It's time to go.
It's time to go. Okay, we are out of here, you guys.
Right on key.
I didn't hear him. I didn't hear him on here though. Oh my God, there he goes. Okay, I'm having a blast, you guys. This was deep tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna do it again next week. Please come back because we're loving every minute of it. You guys, peace out. Take care. See ya.
You have been listening to Paranormal Central with Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas, broadcasting worldwide at paranormalcentral.net and on artbell.com. Stay tuned for next time. Remember to keep your eyes to the skies, and we hope you witness something you cannot explain.
Looking for you, you're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I believe we are